Is all right, and we are about to start. We have this next speed run, or the first speed run of today, is going to be Pokemon Scarlet Victory Road by Trivvaria. When you are ready.
Hi everyone, I'm Trivvaria. I do, well, I'll call it modern Pokemon speedruns, so speedruns of the Pokemon games for the Switch, and today I'll be showing off a speedrun of Pokemon Scarlet, but we're not playing the entire game because that would take over 5 hours. We're just going to be doing the storyline called Victory Road. The one thing that's important to know before we start is that the community settled on us being able to skip the intro of the game, so we're not actually going to start at the beginning, but at that moment that we get the ability to ride our legendary buddy Pokemon Koraidon. So I'm going to go into game here, and time is going to start.
Oh no!
My controller just disconnected. Let's try that again. Would you please? Thank you. There we go. Time is going to start on my first input here. I'm going to count us down. So it's going to load in, and we're standing in the middle of the central plaza here in the capital city of Misagoza. And yeah, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. I'm immediately going to fly out to the east here, to the Pokemon Center at the east gate of town, because that's where we want to leave. And we're going to jump over this fence. The reason for this is that if we were to go through the gate, there would be a cutscene that plays, and we don't want that. That's slow. So we just jump over the fence and we skip the cutscene. We've now unlocked a fly point right outside of this gate that we can return to later, and we're going to fly to this other Pokemon Center in the beginning area. Now you might think, there's nothing down here. Why are you going there? And the reason for this is that we're gonna catch our main Pokemon for the run in this area. And to get there, we're gonna do the first of a couple of tricks in this run. This is a slot that we could not usually go up, but we can just turn around and backwards jump up the slope. Absolutely, that's actually also what we call it. And so there in this game, the BJs, we're going to use that a lot during the run, but that was just the first instance. So yeah, this opens up the map basically immediately. We could go anywhere we wanted to, but this route is just the most convenient. I just picked up a quick ball here. Quick balls are very useful to us because they have a very high success rate at catching if they are thrown in the first turn of battle. And we're going to make use of that almost immediately here, but before we get to our main Pokemon, we're going to pick up some items along the way. The first is this rare candy. Jump down here. And just another rare candy right down there.
So are all of these items like, you know exactly what they're going to be?
Yeah, so every item that's like a visible Pokeball basically is always the same item, but there are hidden items. Sometimes you see a little bit of a sparkle on the ground, like there to the left, and those hidden items are assigned randomly. And yeah, this is going to be our main Pokemon, Flamigo. That was introduced in this game. It's a very, very strong Pokemon. It broke out. Well, for this instance, I did prepare a backup save because we don't want to be here resetting for a Flamigo every time. So it's like 80% to catch the Flamigo there. So we're starting out with some great RNG, but that's what backup saves are for. Now, sadly, we'll skip a little bit of the intro here because I assumed I would not get a breakout. So I skipped some movement. We're already on the save file right next to our first objective, which is going to be the Titan Claw. And yeah, There he is, right on the wall. We're going to fight him here in a second. It takes a little bit to load the cutscene after you load into the game here. So it should start any second now. And you might be asking yourself, why are we doing this? This isn't part of the Victory Road storyline. But yeah, if we beat Clove, we get the ability to dash on Koraidon, which is just much faster than regular, like, walking with this. Ah, there we go. The battle starts. It's just much faster than regular walking on Koraidon, so it's actually worth it to beat Clove and do this kind of lengthy fight than to just walk slow the entire time. Alright, yeah, well, we made quick work of the first phase here. And we're gonna just fall right down. And this is gonna start the second phase. Now Clove, and beating Clove is part of Path of Legends, which is the incentive run for today. But like I said, it's also just a good idea to do it in Victory Road to defeat it and get the dash ability. But yeah, I'm not gonna talk too much about the story of Path of Legends. I'll leave that to later if we meet that incentive.
Well, do we have a second? We do have some donations.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Great. So, and just that reminder, what Trivvaria was just saying, you know, if we can raise that $250 before this run is done, we can also see Path of Legends. And we're almost halfway there already. We have $10 from Purple Paladin with no comment. Thank you so much. We have $50 from the Sea Wolf one. Says something something, praise the All-Father, good luck to all the runners. Thank you for that. We also have an anonymous $25 that says $25 for number 25 Pikachu. Also trans rights. I mean, if I could do Pikachu with trans rights, like, I'll just do the Pikachu cry. Pikachu!
Well, we just beat Clove.
Yay!
We kind of had to take it slow because, well, in general, in Pokemon speedrunning, we want to be able to knock out the enemy Pokemon in one hit so that they don't get a chance to heal. In Clove's case, it's especially important because it has an ability called Anger Shell that will activate as soon as it drops below 50% health. And the ability basically gives Clove a bunch of buffs, which all get applied individually, and that's super slow because there's an animation for each of those buffs. So we really want to be able to defeat it without it ever getting below 50% health. And that is why I started with a little bit of chip damage, because none of my moves would have been able to KO it from full. Now there's always a little bit of a cutscene after each Titan here. I'm going to talk about the story of this category a little bit later. But basically our buddy Arvin here is going to make us a sandwich out of a mystical herb. And we're going to feed that sandwich to our right Pokemon, and it's going to gain an ability, in this case the dash ability.
So for the run that we're doing here, is this the only like Pokemon movement ability we unlock? Okay.
Exactly, yes. This is the only extra movement ability we get. Every other ability would also be locked behind another one of these Titan fights, and it's just not worth to get for this particular category. When it comes to this category, I just noticed that I haven't actually talked about it yet. Our goal for this, for Victory Road, is basically what has always been the goal in Pokemon, and that's to become a Pokemon champion. So we want to beat every gym leader, we want to beat the Elite Four and become the Pokemon champion of this region.
Best.
We do want to become the very best, that is true. We have actually a couple of rivals in this game. We already met Arvin here. He's going to become more important if we do get to see Path of Legends later. Our main rival for this category is going to be Nimona. We're going to get to see her as soon as we reach our first gym. But before we get there, we need to get stronger. So this Flamigo is currently level 26, which is fine, I guess, to defeat maybe the first or second gym. But it's never going to be able to compete with the last couple of really strong trainers in the later gyms. So what we want to do is we want to go around the world and collect as many rare candies and experience candies as we can. So rare candies are items that just give you a level on your Pokemon if you use it. And experience candies give you a flat amount of experience. So we're going to use like 30 of them later to get really strong. So I just used 2 movement texts for this game right there. The first one was another BLJ to get up the slope, and the other one was I was running toward the cliff and then dismounting, falling down the cliff, and then mounting Koraidon again just before I hit the ground. The reason why I did that is that fall would have been a little bit too high for Koraidon, and it would have needed like a second to regain its composure. In this second, I would not have been able to move. We call that the hard landing. And we want to avoid that if we can.
Oh, that's
and that was
cool.
just a way to avoid that. There's another rare candy right here. We're going to jump over the river, and I'm just going to do this same thing again. Going to dismount, slide down. And then just before I get to the ground, I'm going to mount Koraidon again, because if we just fall to the ground, there's another really slow landing animation that our character does if we're not mounted on Koraidon, so we want to avoid that. Alright, this next bit has an interesting name in the community. We call it Ratio Rock, because a lot can go wrong here. We want to BLJ up this part. And there's 2 candies that we want to collect up here. This one, and also a TM, so a technical machine. That's just an item that allows us to teach a move to our Pokemon right up here. That's Acrobatics, which is a really strong move. That we're going to be using a lot throughout the run. And yeah, now we can continue through this area. Now what we didn't see, because I had to load the backup save, is that I picked up a Pokédoll earlier. Pokédolls allow you to guarantee that you can escape from a battle, even if the enemy is much higher level than you. And we're running through an area that is chock full of really strong Pokemon, much stronger than we are at this point. So yeah, that Pokédoll really could help us out in case I do hit an encounter, which I'm trying to avoid. So I'm gonna also drop down this hole. I will not mount again before I hit the floor. I'm actually gonna do this slow, because then the game will actually let me go back up, because the things I fell down on accident. But because we hit the Pokemon Center, we unlocked the flag point for the Pokemon Center, so we can return there anytime we want, but I don't want to return there right now. Instead, we're going up the mountain, and we're gonna collect a bunch more candies.
So is the pathing for this basically get all the candies, level your Pokemon, and then just take out the gym leaders like one after the other? Or...
Yeah, basically, it's not going to be all movement in the front and then all fighting in the end, right? There's going to be a little bit of movement all the way, because we do have to get to those gyms, right? On the open world here. But yeah, very basically, we're going to try to get very strong very soon, and then, or very early, and then just sweep through most of the battles. The battles are going to get a lot more interesting toward the end, because we're not going to over-level for the Elite Four, we're just going to be adequately leveled. But yeah, the first couple of gyms, we're going to be fighting some like level 15, level 20 Pokemon, while we're like level 55. That's going to be very, well, one-sided. So we made it up here. There's a gym right there, but we're gonna just not go into that. We're gonna return later. We do wanna walk onto the platform of the Pokemon Center here to unlock the flight point for that. And this part is, I hate it. I'm very bad at mountain movements, because you could just start sliding at any point, and I never know. Oh, come on. I never know where I can just walk and where I'll accidentally start sliding. Another town, another gym. Again, we'll return later. For now, we're just here to collect some candies. Oops. Oh, really? Just bumped into the wall there. I thought it was going to be fine. Apparently not.
You're just showing off the different, ways that movement can happen.
Yeah, exactly. It was all on purpose. All right, another L candy right there. So there's two types of experience candies that we're picking up. Experience candy M and L. Experience candy M is going to give us 3,000 experience points per candy, and experience candy L are giving us 10,000 points. So that's really a lot of experience, especially early on. That's going to give us quite a few levels. Of course, as we get higher in the levels, the value of the experience candies is gonna diminish. All right, we're flying over here now. But that's what the rare candies are for. We can just give them at a later point and increase our levels bit by bit. So coming up here is the first of a couple of very precise jumps in this run. So jumps that really barely work. Not the first one that I'm about to do here across the river, that's pretty simple, but the second one. So you want to really get that one right.
Nice.
All right, I did get it. It's really easy to hit that slope a little bit too low and start sliding into the water. Oh, wanted to pick up that hyper potion, there we go. And if you slide into the water, Wycoradon can't swim, at least not yet. So we're actually gonna get a fade to black, and it's gonna reset us to the side of the river, which is just very slow. Well, all right. We're actually about to reach the first town where we actually go into a gym, which I guess 20 minutes or however long we're at this right now is a good point as any. We will collect this one last. Can be here. I messed it up. I tried to dismount right before the slope, but if you do it too late, the character's just gonna awkwardly come to a stop right at the edge there. Oh, really? How did I bonk there? I didn't hit the wall. All right, here we go. Finally, we made it into a gym.
First gym.
Yes. So this is actually supposed to be like the third gym that we do, but because this game is open world, we can basically go wherever we want. So, yeah. The good thing is that anything that happens outside of the gyms, like cutscenes and all of that stuff, is actually dependent on how many badges you have. So this cutscene could play in any gym if it's our first gym that we enter. We just met Nimona, by the way. That was our rival. She congratulated us on, well, going after our first gym badge here. Because she's really supportive, but she also wants to be better than us. So it's kind of a little bit of a friendlier rivalry. All right, it's time to use some of these candies, and you're going to immediately see why we wanted to pick those up. Yeah, and we're also going to teach acrobatics here in slot 2. So we just made it to level 55 from like 15 minutes of candy collecting. And we're just going to breeze through this gym. But before we can actually fight the gym leader, we have to do a gym challenge. And the gym leader is actually gonna introduce us to that challenge herself. And there she is, right at the edge of the stream. It's Iono. I actually don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. I'm just gonna go with it. And yeah, her gimmick is that she's actually a streamer. So she wants to use us for content, I guess.
In this case, she's helping raise money for a good cause. Right?
That is true, yeah. Well, I'm just going to introduce us to the challenge here. And it's basically Where's Waldo, but with, instead of Waldo, we're going to be looking for this guy. That's our principal from the academy here. Iono has transferred hair. I just read that. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we need to find our principal here in a crowd of people, but thankfully he's wearing a red jacket, so it's pretty easy.
Is he always in the same spot? That also makes it easier.
Yes, he's always in the same spot. So there he is. Yes. For the speedrun, it's definitely easier, but even casually, it's not that much of a problem. All right. Yeah, we're also going to fight our first gym trainer here. And we're also going to face our first instance of random time loss, potentially, because he's going to send out a Luxio. And this Luxio can have one of two abilities, and we're going to see which it is. It's Intimidate. Intimidate means there's an extra pop-up, which costs time. I could also have Rivalry, and Rivalry wouldn't actually trigger any pop-up message there, so we just lost like a second to a coin flip. Yeah, this run has a couple of those random natures that can kind of screw us over. But it's fine, it's really small, the time that we just lost there. It's fine. Well, time for round 2 of Where's Clavel? Trying to be Nurse Joy over there.
So is it Nurse Joy in these games?
I don't think she has a name, actually. But, you know. I watched the anime a lot when I was younger, so it's always going to be that name. That's
of course. That is who runs the Poké Center.
Absolutely. So in the second fight, there's immediately another chance to lose some time to RNG, because this next Pokemon that's coming out, Fluffy, has the ability Static, and Static has a 30% chance of paralyzing us, which will also cause another pop-up message to show up, and there it is. So
no.
We're currently 2 for 2 when it comes to small time loss because of RNG. Luckily, we don't have to heal that paralysis, because we just get a free heal right after this anyway. But still, it's a little bit of time loss right there.
It's okay. The game is just trying to make sure that people have time to raise money.
That's a really good way of looking at it.
Because, I mean, I'm sure we all want, more speedrunning and more money towards a good cause, and we're just under, we're at $85 out of $250 to get the Path of Legends. So if you want to type that ! donate in chat, let's get more money and more gaming, more Pokemon. Come on, guys. And you passed.
Yes, we passed the test, so we can now actually challenge the gym leader. For that, we have to re-enter the gym and talk to the attendant again. And he's gonna let us fight Iono for our first gym badge. Now, Iono is an electric type gym leader. Our Pokemon is flying and fighting type, and flying types are weak to electric, which is another reason why we want to be really over-leveled for this, because otherwise we would be having a hard time. But, at level 55, it's going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be fine.
What level is this gym?
It's in the 20s, I want to say, like 24, 25.
Oh, okay, so...
We're good. Yeah, before we can fight her, she's gonna do some more, I want to say, streamer shenanigans. Gonna hype up the crowd. I think she's even gonna get a donation here in a second.
Yeah, I think she does. Yeah, I think I remember from my casual run seeing that she thanks someone in her. So come on, chat, that could be you. You could be the one being thanked. All right, there we go.
Yeah, there it was. Finally, time to start the battle. She's gonna send out her first Pokemon, Wattrel, which is a new Pokemon in this game. I think it's flying electric type, it definitely looks like it. And we're going to use Wing Attack on it. Now, Wing Attack is not very effective against it, but The thing about choosing moves in this game is that, as you saw there, each move has an animation that plays when you select it. So, well, usually we would be able to disable that, at least in older Pokemon games, in every Pokemon game basically, but not in this one. For some reason, Game Freak did not add the option to disable move animations. So every time we use a move, we want to make sure that it's the move with the shortest possible animation. And that's also the reason why we have 2 flying type and 2 fighting type moves. Because Wing Attack is pretty weak, but it has a very short animation, and Acrobatics is very strong, but it has an animation that is like double the length of Wing Attack's animation. So whenever Wing Attack is going to be enough to take out an enemy Pokemon, we're going to use that. But if an enemy Pokemon is strong, like this Miss Magus, we're going to use Acrobatics to make sure that we knock it out in one hit. Now Miss Magus usually is a ghost type, but the gimmick of this game is that we can terrestrialize a Pokemon, which is what's happening right here. And that just means it's going to change its type. In this case, Miss Magus is going to become an electric type. So fitting with the theme of the gem. But yeah, that was her ace Pokemon, her last one, her strongest one. We beat her pretty easily. And that's enough to get our first badge. Now there's going to be a little bit of cutscene after this, so if there are some donations, go ahead and read them out.
Let me check. No new donations just yet.
Right.
But, you know, we are, just a reminder, we're raising money for that great cause for Equality Texas, the Equality Texas Foundation. So you can type that ! donate in chat. And we can get more speedrunning if we can get to $250 before this run ends. So come on, even just a couple dollars helps.
All right, so we beat her. And there's going to be just one more small cutscene that's placed right after, where Nemona calls us and congratulates us on getting the badge. She also wants to fight us soon. But she doesn't really say when, so right now we don't have to worry about that. Instead, we can just leave the gym and move on with our quest. Now, before we leave this town, we want to pick up one more item. There's a rare candy right around the corner that we're going to pick up before we fly to our next destination. And I'm definitely glad to be out of here because this town is extremely laggy.
Oh no.
I'm glad we didn't get rain or any other weather, because weather usually makes the game lag even more.
Oh no.
Alright, we just flew right back to Cloth, and there's going to be another pretty precise jump here in a second. We're going to collect 2 more candies here. One is right up there. And then I'm gonna jump, and okay, I made it. This isn't super easy to hit, because it's very easy to accidentally just walk off the cliff, which definitely happened to me on a leaderboard submission once. But we made it this time, which is very good. And yeah, we're just gonna go straight into this next town where our second gym battle awaits us. This gym is gonna get its own little intro cutscene here, because this is supposed to be the first or second gym that you see, so the game thinks it has to introduce you to the concept of gyms. Which also means that this gym is gonna be even weaker than Iona was. I think the ace here is level 19. So we're gonna have absolutely no problem. There's Nemona again. Yeah. Sorry.
I was just curious. So have you run other Pokemon games?
Yeah, I have run, well, really only one other Pokemon game in Pokemon Let's Go. Okay. So that's another game for the Switch, which has a really it's a really cool speed game because you have to like catch a lot of different Pokemon to be able to complete the any % route, and you have to get pretty creative about it. So it's a lot of fun. I still run it from time to time, even though I'm currently mostly doing Scarlet. But I haven't run any of the older games, mostly because I don't really have a way to record them. Switch is pretty easy to record, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, a TS game, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Alright, well, this is our second gym test here. It's Sunflora Hide and Seek. So all over the town there are hidden Sunflora, except for these 3 right here that we can just collect and move on. And we have to find 10 of them. So this particular challenge was rerouted a lot in the early days of the speedrun, but eventually the community settled on this route that I'm doing right now, where we can just collect 10 of these as fast as possible.
I was going to say, are they in set locations?
Yeah, they are in set locations. We're going to ignore this one because it would actually trigger a battle, and that's slow. We just want to collect the Sunflora that don't want to battle us. This one just wanted to order a drink, I guess. And this last one just wants to be on the playground a little bit longer, but we do have a schedule to keep, so let's send them back to the little farm here. There we go, passed that test.
Nice. So quick, as opposed to the casual version of trying to find them.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was pretty fun doing this casually. I went into this town and I immediately noticed that there was a maze in town. And I was like, there has to be a Sunflora in the maze. No way, they're not doing that. So that's where I went immediately when this started. I was like, there has to be some Sunflora in the maze. No use looking
I'm pretty
anywhere
sure I
else.
did the same thing.
Yeah. All right, well, we get to challenge our second gym leader here. Brassius is the grass type gym leader. He was also quite prominently featured in the promotional material for this game because of his ace Pokemon. We're going to get to that in a minute here. But yeah, he's outside of leading his gym. He's also an artist who's kind of looking for a new muse, and he'll find that in us, apparently. You know, fine by me. We're just here to get his badge, though.
It's one thing I think is interesting is this generation of gym leaders all seem to have jobs outside of being a gym leader.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting, but cool.
I mean, we've had that to some extent before, right? We had, like, a photographer or a scientist gym leader. But this gen really makes it very explicit that leading the gym is not all they do.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty nice attention to detail.
Okay, so I'm curious. You used a fighting move when we have flying, which is super effective against grass.
Exactly. The reason for that is that the super effective text box is just one more text box that has to clear and take up time. So whenever we can defeat something with neutral damage, we want to go for that. Now in the case of Scarlet, the second Pokemon that came out, that's flying and normal type, so it's actually weak to fighting and flying, so we cannot hit it for neutral damage. But the first Pokemon, Petalil, we could just hit with a fighting type move and be fine. So here we go. It's Sudowoodo, and it's actually going to become grass type, you know, the way we thought it was way back in Johto. Yeah, Brassius calls it truly Woodo, which I think is cute. Yeah, it had the sturdy ability, which basically lets it hang on with 1 HP if we would usually knock it out in one hit. And that's why I use double kick there, because double kick kind of gets around that by hitting twice in one turn. So the first kick there triggered the sturdy ability, and the second one still went through and actually knocked it out in one turn. So we don't have to wait for its attack and defeat it in turn 2 or something. It's really really nice for us to use a move like double kick.
It's really cool, all the like very small, like subtle things that are just saving you time all over the place. I never would have thought of.
Well, things like this are very important to keep in mind when, or were very important to keep in mind when the community was settling on a main Pokemon for these runs. There was actually a time where Flamigo was the main Pokemon for every run of this game, because it was just so good, you know. It has amazing type coverage, which with its 2 types, it does well against basically everything, especially if you consider that we can just overlevel it. And it still is the more or less undisputed champion in this category and also in the any percent category, but in the other 2, in Path of Legends, oops, I actually have to do something before I leave, can't forget that. In Path of Legends and Starfall Street, the other 2 categories, there's actually some competition for Flamigo, now finally, after quite some time. Alright, well, we're gonna fly to that Pokemon Center that I unlocked by dropping down to that hole earlier. And we're gonna make our way to our next gym battle.
And I saw you switched in the Piggy.
Yes, exactly. So we carry the Pokemon box with us at all times, so it's not just, you know, at the Pokemon Center. So we can just swap our Pokemon as we need them. And the reason for why I switched to the Piggy, even though it's really weak, is that we're about to be challenged by... Nope, don't want to fight that. We're about to be challenged by our rival Nemona, and for some reason in this game, it's actually fine if you lose against Nemona. So, and because that's much faster than trying to defeat her, especially because she also would terrestrialize her Pokemon, which is a very slow animation. We're just gonna sandbag it. We're gonna lose. It's fine. We don't need to win every time. Yeah, that's why I swapped in the Flamingo. The chunk, excuse me. Oh. Alright, there she comes. She's gonna challenge us in the streets of Medley, which is the town we're in. And the first Nemona battle here is actually the only battle where it can take longer than 1 turn, because sometimes she just chooses to not attack but go for a status move, which is just slow. I just want her to knock out the Purlochonk and be done with it. But apparently she just likes to toy with us sometimes.
Oh, no.
But yeah, in later battles she's going to be much stronger and she's always going to go for the kill. So let's see what we're going to get here.
Alright. Fingers crossed. What kind of marathon luck will it be?
So I've had this battle go for 3 turns once, which is just way too long.
No.
Because she went for, I want to say like Growl turn 1. Then turn 2 she went for Rock Throw like she did there, but she missed. And then turn 3 she finally hit with Rock Throw. So yeah, usually it should be done in 1 turn, but that was some unfortunate time loss when that happened to me.
But we got the good luck this time.
We got it, yeah. Now, it's very important after this that we swap the Flamigo back into our party, because we don't want to accidentally go into battle against the next gym leader with a Lechonk. That happened to me earlier this week.
Oh no!
So, don't want to forget that. There's just so many cutscenes in this game, especially in and around these gym lobbies, so I just forgot that I had to do that. I went to the gym fight and I thought, you know, it's great, I didn't forget anything, we're gonna get a PP in this run, and then I went into the battle and I didn't even realize that I had the wrong Pokemon out until my chunk had already fainted, so I was focused on chat or something, I don't know, I didn't pay attention. Alright, well, the gym challenge for this gym is we're supposed to go around town, battle some trainers, and they're going to tell us a few hints to order a secret menu item in this famous restaurant here in town. But that recipe that we're supposed to order is always going to be the same, so we can just tell it to the guy. We don't have to fight any other trainers. It's going to be this, medium serving, extra crispy, with lemon. And there we go.
And all of the people who were, eating on that floor suddenly poof.
They're just gone. I do hope that the restaurant at least, let them take their food outside or something. I don't know. It feels kind of rude to just be interrupted mid-dinner. Yeah, no, sorry, you can't finish your soup.
Sorry, we have a gym trainer. It's too bad.
All right, let me introduce you to everyone's favorite gym leader. He's just a normal guy.
Larry.
Yes, it's Larry. And
he's just so fed up with life too.
Yeah, he's just on his lunch break, and we have to show up and challenge him to a battle, and all he wanted to do is finish his break and get back to work. But no, some girl with red space buns shows up to ruin his lunch break. Alright, sadly Larry is kind of an easy fight. We just spam acrobatics the entire time.
And then I feel like he has the perfect Pokemon too. Starting with Komala, that just is a sleeping Pokemon.
That's right. Come on, next up is the Dunsparce, the long-awaited evolution for Dunsparce.
The Dunsparce.
So I read that name wrong for the longest time. I'm a huge fan of Xenoblade Chronicles, and there's a character in that called Dan, who is called Dun Dun by one of the other characters. So when I read this, I always read Dun Dunsparce. And then one day I was trying to look up the Dunsparce stats, and I just googled Dun Dunsparce and nothing came up. And I was like, what's going on? Is this Pokemon just an illusion? Does it really exist? And then I noticed, oh no, I just misread it all the time. Well, that cleared up. Larry just sent out his ace here, Staraptor. Now Staraptor has the ability Intimidate, which would lower our attack by one stage. But we specifically are always looking for a certain ability on our Flamigo, and that ability is called Scrappy. Now Scrappy usually just lets you hit ghost types with normal or fighting type moves. But starting in Gen 8, so in Sword and Shield, it also started just countering Intimidate, so we don't actually get affected by Intimidate at all, and that's very useful to us because having a lowered attack is not great for Flamigo. I hope I explained that in a way that came across. Let's just say we have a great ability and Intimidate is not gonna affect us.
So at the beginning of the run, if you're just doing a standard, trying for PB, is it the kind of thing where you're going to reset until you get that first Flamigo with Scrappy?
Yes, that is exactly what would usually happen. So I've spent like 40 minutes just resetting for Scrappy Flamigo. It's supposed to be a 50-50 chance to be either Scrappy or the other ability that it can be. But I don't know, for me it's more like 30-70 or something.
So it's the Pokemon version of 50-50.
Exactly, yes. Always not in your favor, these types of things. Yeah. And then also it can just break out sometimes. There is a way to increase the chance of catching the Flamigo so breakouts don't happen. Honestly, I just forgot to do it earlier. I was going to do it for this marathon run. Because you can do what's called a back strike, where you hit the Flamigo with a Pokeball while it hasn't noticed you yet. But like I said, I just forgot to do it. Great, it's raining, so extra lag.
Oh, no.
All right, so we're gonna go straight to the next town with the next gym, but we're actually not gonna fight the gym leader there quite yet. We're just gonna accept his gym challenge. And the reason for that is that we want a very particular gym order for this next part of the game. So we're actually gonna visit 2 gyms and we're gonna defeat neither of the gym leaders. For now, we're gonna return for them later. There's one more rare candy to pick up. And then there's a very particular spot here where we can start a BLJ. There we go. Oops, come on. There we go.
Nice.
And there's the next gym.
Nice. I just want to remind everyone we are raising money for Equality Texas Foundation, and you can put those donations towards the incentive. If we could reach $250 before the end of this run, we'll get more Pokemon and, you know, more Marathon. So we're at $85 right now out of $250. So even if you can just donate like a couple bucks, that's really helpful. Type !donate in chat. And, you know, if you want to mention like your favorite Pokemon, I will try to do a poor Pokemon cry for you.
All right, well, the gym leader of this town, Kofu, just ran past us because he wants to go shopping in the neighboring town, but he forgot his wallet. So our task is actually going to be returning his wallet to him in the other town. But for that, we have to cross the desert. Oh, I messed it up. I was supposed to jump over that river. I'm just gonna go around, more consistent. Yeah, so we have to actually trek across the desert, go to the other side, to the town that Larry is visiting. Not Larry, Kofu, excuse me. I'm always thinking about Larry, what can I say?
Can't blame you.
And as per usual, we're gonna collect a bunch of items along the way. You'll also see me collect a lot of TMs that don't seem to be making much sense. The reason for that is that we're gonna sell them later. So you actually have to buy a lot of stuff in the later part of this run. So we need a lot of money, and TMs sell for, wow, like 5,000 Poké dollars, I guess, each. So that's very valuable. And we don't really need them in this run, so we can just sell them.
There you go. Quick cash.
All right, there's the town. Now, there's another pretty precise jump coming up here. Where we want to hit the other roof. We have to start dashing really late there, otherwise you just kind of fall off the other side of that building that we started off on, but I hit it. No problem, luckily. Alright, there he is, Kofu. And he's just a very excited guy. Likes to storm off and go on his own little adventures. But we just want to return his wallet, right? However, his employee doesn't like that for some reason, so he challenges us to a battle. Alright, I guess.
I mean, would you trust a random teenager who walks up like, hey, by the way, I have something important?
That, fair point. So, both of his Pokemon have Aqua Jet, there we go, and that's the only way that they outspeed us. So, we want to see him not use that, because he can just randomly decide not to use it. So we already saw one Aqua Jet there. Let's hope he doesn't go for a second one here. Okay, there we go. Perfect.
Yay.
So I didn't lose too much time. And somehow by defeating him, we have convinced him to let us talk to Kofu. I don't know. Pokemon logic. There we go. Gonna give him his wallet, and he's about to basically say, yeah, sure, thanks for returning this to me, you can fight me now. But then he overhears one of the vendors here selling a very rare herb from Hoenn, and he wants us to get it for him in an auction. So our actual gym challenge here is going to be winning this auction. Now he's going to give us money for it. We don't have to pay it from our pocket. And the good thing about this is that we get to keep the change, basically. So we want to get this at as low a price as possible. And for that reason, in round 1 of the bidding here, I'm actually gonna not bid anything to keep the price low. And then in the second round, I'm gonna bid 35k, and the other 2 are gonna fold.
I was gonna say, is there randomization with this, or?
No, this is always the same. Also,
Nice.
So we just do it in a way where we actually make 15k by doing this challenge, which is nice, you know. No other gym leader pays us to do the gym challenge. All right, up next we're gonna actually fly right back to Mesagoza, so right where we started, but we're gonna fly up top to the academy. So I didn't really talk about this, but as trainers in this region, we are enrolled in this academy. And we're actually well, I want to say a quest. The school calls it a treasure hunt, where we're supposed to travel the region and find our own treasure by our own definition. So we can actually say, you know, my treasure is becoming the Pokemon champion. My treasure is helping my friend get some herbs. I don't know. But yeah, that's what we're basically doing the entire time. We're completing schoolwork. Now I jumped across the mountain there to get to this building. That's the Pokemon League building, so actually where the Elite Four is gonna be, but we can't enter that yet. I'm just here to collect the fly point, and then we're gonna go straight on top of the next mountain. And this next jump is a little bit tricky. So I'm gonna focus. And I hope that I hit it. We want to land on the other side of the river. Oh, it's going to be close. No, it's good. We're good. Okay, we made it.
Yay!
So.
In chat, someone said, my treasure is Clodsire.
That's understandable. That's a very cute addition to the Pokedex in this game. We're actually going to get to see that later.
Nice.
Alright, so on the way to the next town, we want to pick up this item. This is the Adamant Mint. Now, mints are relatively new in the series. I think they were introduced in Sword and Shield. They allow us to change the nature of our Pokemon. So natures in this game raise one stat of a Pokemon by 10% and lower a second stat by 10%. So it's kind of a trade-off, right? And Adamant is a very useful nature to us because it raises our attack and lowers our special attack. And we only have physical attacks, so special attack doesn't matter to us at all, which means that we really want to force that Adamant nature later to be even stronger than we already are.
Nice.
It's really convenient to us that this mint is just on the ground on the way to this town.
Yeah, I was going to say that way you don't have to grind for that. A Flamigo with both the ability and the...
That would be a nightmare. I've already spent so much time resetting for Flamigo in the last couple of months. Only having Adamant Flamigo be runnable, that would be a 1 in 25 chance on top of the 50-50 to get the correct ability. That no thank you. I don't think I would be running this game. Well, luckily we don't have to do that because mints are in the game. In the section that we skipped, there's actually another mint, the Hasty Mint. Hasty is a nature that raises our speed. We're gonna use that for the very last fight of the run because, wow, there's a very fast Pokemon on that fight. Well, we made it to our second gym usually this is in one split for me, so on the way to a gym that we actually are going to beat. We're going to do this challenge. This is kind of infamous. I was supposed to save before. Well, it's too late now. I wanted to save because this particular gym challenge has a habit of crashing the game. Or soft locking it. So this happened twice to me already. Once the game just wouldn't load, so it was just stuck in that black load screen. And it wouldn't load. I waited for like 3 minutes and nothing happened. And then a second time, this ball that was supposed to push into the basket here just got stuck in the ground and I couldn't move it anymore.
Oh no.
And there's no way to like reset it. There's no way to start the challenge over. At least I wasn't aware of that at the time, so it was just run over. Oh, okay, there we go. We just want to get it to the basket. I'm really bad at this game, by the way. There's other people can do this much quicker than me, but it's fine. We got the olive into the basket. I'm glad that this is over.
I did wonder if there was like a, perfect path to roll the olive.
Yeah, you just want to basically try to get it over the fences by jumping kind of next to it. And you want to avoid those trainers because they have like a very high invisible wall above them. So stay out of their way and just try to kick the olive across the fences. All right, so like I said, we're not actually going to do that gym either. Instead, we're just moving on to the next gym already, and we're going to jump this river. Now, I actually messed this jump up in my last PB that I got on Wednesday, but this time I made it. It's actually not a hard jump. I don't know how I messed it up, but oh well, here we are. Oops. Well, that was unexpected. All right. So that's another movement bit here that I haven't talked about. We're going to see it in a second. Another way of avoiding the hard fall in this game is to actually hit a slope right before you land, because the game is going to force the slide like this. There we go. And your fall height is reset, basically. So we didn't get the hard fall animation when we landed. But we would have gotten it if we had just hit the ground without first hitting the slope. Picked up another item to sell here. Rare bone. Quite valuable. And very useful to us. And then right around the corner there's another M candy. Actually, it's 2 M candies in one. And we're gonna get into Alphanara Cavern here. And inside of that cavern, we want to look out for Hariyama. Because we actually want to catch that Hariyama. And the reason for that is that we're going to use that for... Oh, wait, I saw Makubita. Yeah, there we go. We're actually going to need a partner Pokemon, because there's a gym in this game that is exclusively double battles. And the game won't let you fight double battles if you don't have at least 2 Pokemon in your party. And Hariyama is a pretty strong Pokemon, so and we can catch it at a pretty high level here. So it's just very useful to us as a partner Pokemon for the gym. Now there would have been a backup catch if we didn't find a Hariyama here, because it's not worth it to wait around for it if one doesn't spawn immediately. But we got it. So we can rest easy and just continue to the next gym.
I was curious about the double battle and how that one was going to be handled, so...
Yeah. I'm going to explain that a little bit more in depth when we get there.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, that was unfortunate. Come on, jump up here, thank you.
Alright, and I just want to remind everyone, you are watching Speed Stuff for Trans Lives 2. We're on day 2 of 3, raising money in support of the Equality Texas Foundation. To donate, you can type !donate in chat, and you can put any donations you make, as little as $1, I think, towards or open incentives, like right now, we can get more Pokemon Path of Legends if we can get up to $250 before this run is done. So ! Donate in chat. And now we're at a gym.
Yes, we are finally at a gym that we're actually gonna fight. This one is the Psychic type gym. It's actually supposed to be like the 7th gym. So we're gonna be making quite the jump here in terms of, well, enemy level and enemy difficulty. And for that reason, we're actually gonna, boost, there we go. Boost our Flamigo even further with all of the items that we just collected. And we're gonna go all the way up to level 67 here. We're also gonna use the adamant. Alright, so I didn't use that last L candy, as you may have noticed. That's because we're gonna use that at a later point on a different Pokemon. And now it's time for the gym challenge with the best soundtrack. But sadly a pretty slow gym challenge. But hey, you know, at least the music's good. So this gym challenge, she's gonna prompt us to show her an emotion. And we just have to select that emotion from a menu of 4. And that's all that it is. We have to show her the right emotions. It's very straightforward. Now the thing about this is, there's going to be a little bit of a timer at the top there, showing up in a second, and that timer stands still while we show an emotion. So we actually want to show as little emotion as possible. Yeah, that's right. We want to be stone-faced. So, we actually only want to show 2 emotions here. She's gonna ask for 10, so 8 more, but we only show 2. That's enough to beat the first stage of this challenge. But hey, we get to enjoy the music in the meantime.
And we get to enjoy all the Pokemon and people in the background doing silly stuff.
That's true. Some of them are actually gym trainers that we're about to fight here. Alright, that was 10. 20% is apparently enough to pass in this test. I would have loved that during university studies, I have to say. Here we go. Of course, it's not a gym without any battles, but we're still pretty over-leveled, so we can just wing attack everything. Actually, I didn't know my stats. I should have pulled up the stats of this backup Flamigo when I loaded up the save. Another situation where if this Corellia had had a different ability, we wouldn't have lost time. Well, unfortunate, but what can you do? So let me see. Alright, can I actually just go for wing attack in the second fight as well? No, I can't. I'll have to use acrobatics once in the next fight because my attack isn't good enough. Alright, round 2. Now, this time she's actually gonna ask us for 15 emotions. We're just gonna show 5 this time. You know, we're going from 20% to 33%. I think that's a good improvement here. There's 3, 4, and 1 more here. And that's 5. Perfect.
Alright, well, while we do the last of this, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk over the music really quick. I just want to remind you, Equality Texas and the Equality Texas Foundation work in tandem to secure full equality for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer Texans through political action, education, community organizing, and collaboration. So type !donate in chat for a great cause and, you know, to support our awesome runners and like fun gameplay.
Alright, we made it. We showed the least emotion. We still have to do one more fight. I'm pretty sure that's not the takeaway that the player is supposed to have, but it's fine. And yeah, this Grumpig is pretty tanky, so we're actually going to have to acrobatics it instead of using wing attack. There we go, and then we can just swap back to wing attack right after. Alright. One more Pokemon here is going to be Medicham, right? I was blanking on the name for a second. And then we actually get to fight the gym leader of the Psychic type gym here.
So I'm curious, what is your favorite Pokemon? I mean,
it's a tough question because there's so many that I love. I always say that I'm like biased when it comes to picking a favorite Pokemon. I'm biased to the first generation because I played a lot of both Pokemon Yellow as a kid and Fire Red and Leaf Green. So, you know, I really love the first gen Pokemon. I love all of the evolutions. I love Snorlax, all of those.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's where my heart is, but I couldn't pick one favorite Pokemon. That is completely
fair.
I think. This is our fourth gym in this run against Tulip here. Tulip, outside of leading the gym, is also a model and makeup influencer, I want to say. Yeah. Actually talking about ordering some eyeshadow here. And we're going to see an interesting mix of psychic types on her team. Excuse me. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say, all the gym leaders have such great outfits.
Yeah. I think the character design on all of the gym leaders is really great in this game. They're all very unique. And very memorable. I'm going to start off here with Farigiraf, I'm not sure, but of course this was added in Scarlet and Violet as an evolution to Giraffaric. So another one of those early gen Pokemon that people always wanted to be able to evolve. Finally got their wish in this game. Gardevoir, of course, you know that. Classic Pokemon. Kind of a trans icon in its own right.
Yep.
Espatra new in this generation. It kind of looks like it would be Psychic Flying type, maybe, because, you know, it's supposed to be like an ostrich, but it's just Psychic.
I mean, ostriches can't really fly, so...
That is true.
Right?
But they're birds, right?
Yeah.
Close enough. I don't know. And then we're ending on the Florges here. Florges usually is a fairy type, but of course she's gonna terrestrialize it into a psychic type here. Doesn't really matter to us. Both of them take neutral damage from flying. So we're good. Bye-bye. Alright, and that's badge number 4 for us, at least gym badges. We did get a badge for Clove as well, but that's a different kind of badge. Which means we're about halfway done here. Flamingo sweep in the chat, absolutely yes. This Flamingo is going places.
So just a reminder, we're about halfway done with this run-ish. And we still have $165 in order to get more Pokemon, more Marathon, to get that Path of Legends. So if you can donate even $1, it's super appreciated, and it's going towards a great cause. And, you know, also more Pokemon. I'm gonna advocate for more Pokemon.
Yeah, absolutely. Get your donations in for that, because Path of Legends is its own beast, truly, and quite different from this run as well, because we would be fighting all of the Titan Pokemon like Cloth. So if you want to see that, donate for that incentive. All right, up next we're gonna actually do another little menu here. We're gonna bring in our starter Pokemon Fuecoco, and we're gonna put an air candy into that. But we don't want it to evolve. No, thank you. You can stay a small little croc.
We want him to stay derpy.
Yes. Oh no, I don't want to use that. What am I doing here? Okay. I do want to get into the summary and reteach Incinerate. And then we can leave. Now the reason for that is very particular. I'm going to try my best to explain it. So we're going to be fighting Nemona again pretty soon, but we're not going to fight her right before the gym. She's actually going to challenge us right after defeating the 5th gym. And so we set it up in a way that we're going to be fighting the first, or the weakest gym, right? The first gym leader that you would usually take on, the Bug gym. And while Bug is weak to fire. So we can actually do this gym with our little derpy crocodile. It's gonna have no problem with the Bug types, but then it's also gonna KO in one hit against Nemona. So that's the perfect scenario for us. Which also means the next couple of minutes are pretty straightforward. We're just gonna go into the gym leader battle, spam our strongest fire type move, and then go into the next battle, get knocked out immediately, and that's basically it.
So I was going to ask, so for the Nemona fights, are those then based on the number of gyms you've fought rather than like which gyms? Yeah,
right. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but all of these cutscenes, all of these events that happen in and around the gyms, they are all dependent on the number of badges that you have. So Nemona is always gonna fight you after you get your 5th gym badge, for instance, and that's what's gonna happen here. So if we had another gym leader as our 5th gym leader, then Nemona would fight us right there. For me, for instance, it was Larry, so this fight that's gonna happen here after the fight against Katie, that happened after Larry for me, but Fuecoco would not be strong enough to take on Larry's Pokemon. So we wouldn't be able to sacrifice it in the next fight. Which is why we specifically want Katie to be the 5th gym leader. That's why we did the olive roll, Katie's gym puzzle, earlier, without actually fighting Katie. And that's also one of the reasons why we didn't fight Kofu back when we crossed the desert. Because we specifically want Katie to be the 5th.
So that's because that's where Nemona comes for.
Exactly.
So having that perfect level and everything.
Yes.
Nice.
We also prepare this for Coco because we are able to skip the intro for this category. We can just prepare a save file with a specific for Coco. This one has one of the lowest amounts of experience that you can get from the early game. Like, we purposefully lose one of the early game Nemona fights that we didn't get to see in this run. And also a fight that we would usually have done against Arven. And these are actually pretty hard to lose because the game wants you to win them. But we had to do that because if we just gained like 10 more experience points, Fuecoco would actually level up after this fight and try to evolve again, right? And we want to avoid that. So we specifically put it into an experience situation where it would not level up from the Teddiursa experience here. You're actually going to see that in action here in a second, because the experience bar is going to come incredibly close to being full. To the left here. There we go. Just shy of actually hitting the next level. So yeah, that's something we can do because of the way the community handles these single story runs. Now, if you want to beat the game in any percent, you still have to play the entire thing, even the intro. because nothing much happens in the first like 45 minutes of the game. It would have been kind of boring to play that every time if you just want to beat a single story, right? So that's why the community decided to cut that part out of the single story runs.
I was wondering like how much time it saves for, you know, these runs.
Yeah, so the intro is, like I said, like 45 to 50 minutes long.
Wow.
And just imagine having to reset for a Flamigo after you played the intro for 50 minutes. That would be just, no, no thank you.
Imagine.
So resetting after 2.5 minutes, that's all fine and good, you know. That's not much time of my life wasted on a bad Flamigo, but 50 minutes, I don't think I want that, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, Nemona comes in right after the fight, like I said, and she's going to challenge us to a battle. And actually, she has another person with her right here, the lady to the right, that's Gita. Gita is the champion of the Paldea region. So she's going to be one of our final fights in this category. And she's actually going to witness this battle because she thinks that Nemona and we would be, you know, the best talent around, right? The new bright stars. But we're just going to lose to her in one turn, so we're not showing up in form here today. Gita's probably going to think that we are not very good, after all. She's not going to say that, right? But one would imagine that that is what she thinks in that situation. All right, then. This time we don't just battle in the street like last time. We actually battle at the gym's battle court because that's outside, but in Medley, where we had the first Nemona fight, the gym court was inside of that restaurant, right? So that's why we fought in the street. And you can actually see some details in the distance. So on the left side of the screen right now is in the back, you can actually see the Pokemon League building, at least the roof of it. Which is just goes to show that this world is connected, you know, it's a big open world. It's very fun to explore. And also fun to maneuver through if you're speedrunning. You can also see the tallest spire of the academy there. Well, not in this. There we go. In the back there. Oh, what's happening to the sound? Okay, it's back. Don't know what that was. I think it's my capture card. Sometimes just cuts the sound. I don't know why.
Oh, no.
All right, well, that was the wrong button. I didn't want to open the map. Didn't want to open the boxes because Flamigo has done its Flacoco has done its job. Why do I keep doing that? Flamigo is gonna stay with us, but Flacoco has done its job. It beat Katie. That's great. It lost to Nemona. That's all it has to do. And now we fly back to Cascarafa, and we're actually gonna fight Kofu. Now, there's also a reason why we delayed Kofu to be the 6th gym leader that we defeat. And the reason is that the inventory in the shops expands in this game depending on how many gym badges you have. And after 6 badges, a particular item that we want to buy unlocks in some shops of the game. One of those shops is here in Cascarafa. So we're already gonna be in the vicinity if we beat Kofu last. And that is why we delayed him to be our 6th gym leader here. Even though we returned his wallet like a half hour ago in this run. That's actually our homeroom teacher from the academy. He just dropped by to wish us luck and give us the lucky egg, which is a pretty useful item if you play this casual because it increases the experience you get. But for us, it's just going to be a nice selling item later. So yes, we do sell the thing that our teacher gave to us as a gift.
We're here for going fast, not for sentiment.
That is true. right, time to fight Kofu. Kofu is the water type gym leader. Now this town has, yes, okay, wow, that's unfortunate. This town can sometimes have a sandstorm, and that is exactly what is happening here. And the sandstorm actually affects the battle, because we're gonna get buffeted by the sandstorm after every turn. That's a small little time loss every turn. Really unfortunate that we got it here. Also, of course, like any other weather effect, is gonna affect the lag. So it's really unfortunate to get it here. It could still dissipate before the battle starts, but if it dissipates after the battle starts, it's still gonna stay in effect for the battle until the end at least. So if it doesn't vanish in the next 5 seconds, we're gonna have to live with the time loss. And it's not looking good.
Oh. Well, that just means more time to raise money.
That is true. A couple more seconds.
We do have a donation.
Yeah, that's a perfect time to read it. Go ahead.
We have $5 from Anonymous that says $5 donation train for more Pokemon and for trans rights. Heck yes. Thank you so much for that donation. And definitely, if we can reach $250, we're at $90 right now. We still have, you know, an hour,
Yeah,
maybe a little bit more than an hour for this run to raise that money. If we could reach it, we get more Pokemon, and we're raising money for Equality Texas Foundation, helping support, you know, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer Texans. So, !donate in chat. Keep them coming.
Absolutely. I was about to say, you know, trans rights and more Pokemon, that's like my favorite combination right there. So absolutely get your donations in.
Trans rights and Pokemon. Come on.
That's amazing. Well, back to our fight here against Kofu. It's pretty straightforward again, we're pretty over leveled, but I actually want you to pay attention to the background, because you can actually see something flap around over the mountain in the background. If you pay attention, it's really small. Right next to the peak. And that is actually... Yeah, that's actually one of the Titan Pokemon that we could fight in the Path of Legends category. So, if you want to see me beat that Pokemon that's flying around there in the background, definitely get your donations into that incentive.
If you've already defeated it, is it no longer flying up there?
Yeah. So if you defeated it, it's actually gone.
Wow. I didn't realize it. Like they had that. That's so cool.
Yeah, the render distance is really high, just for the Titan Pokemon. It was especially interesting to see that with Desert Titan. I don't want to spoil anything in case we get to see that later. But to see that all the way across the desert, that was really quite a sight when I played this casually.
If you want to see more Titans, get those donations in.
So that makes 6 badges. I think we're gonna get another cutscene, because of course we do. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna talk to this guy. We'll talk more about him later. But yeah, we can now actually buy bottle caps. Bottle caps are also a relatively new item in the series. Again, I think they were introduced in Sword and Shield, but I might be wrong about that. Bottle caps let you change a hidden value in the game. So Pokemon stats are affected by their base stats that are species specific in Pokemon. Like every Flamigo will have the same base stats, and there are 2 other sets of hidden values. One of them is called individual values, and those are basically, oops, that's the wrong menu. I want to go to general goods, my 2 bottle caps, there we go. Individual values are like, I don't know, genetic markers, I want to say. I forgot where I have to fly here. Oh, there we go. To the gym up here. And they're usually set for each specific Pokemon. So my Flamigo has a set of IVs that usually we would not be able to change. But that's the wrong Pokemon. With the introduction of bottle caps, we're not actually able to do that. So we will boost our individual values for attack and speed at a later point. And we actually need that too, to be able to defeat the Elite Four and the champion, because we have to be really strong for that. Now, I swapped the chunk in, which means there's another Nemona fight coming up here that we need to lose. It's actually the last fight that we have to lose against Nemona. So, one last time, just sacrificing our poor little Lechonk.
The poor piggy.
Yeah.
One thing I don't think we've mentioned is that I know that Scarlet and Violet have an option to, like, you know, skip cutscenes, but then it only considers like one or two things cutscenes that it'll skip.
Yeah, right. So that option is on right now, but yet you will still see a bunch of other cutscenes during this run, and that is because what is considered a cutscene or not by the game is incredibly arbitrary. But basically, every cutscene that includes dialogue in those white dialogue boxes like this will not be considered a cutscene. And we're also going to see another exception to that later, because there is a cutscene without those dialogue boxes in this particular run that we will still see because it is not skipped by the option for some reason. It's just really inconsistent. I don't know why. Alright, well, we're gonna take the challenge. We'll leave the gym and we have to go right back up to where the Pokemon Center was, because that is where the challenge will start.
This is the skiing challenge, right?
Exactly, it's like alpine skiing or something. So you want to collect that TM before I talk to this guy, and there we go. Well, it's more like sledding when we're on Koraidon, but since
close enough, right?
Sorry, what did you say?
I'm just saying close enough, right?
Yeah, absolutely close enough. I mean, the gym leader here is a snowboarder, so the challenge definitely makes sense. I feel like this challenge isn't quite as optimized as the other ones. At least I haven't really seen anyone claim to have found the fastest way to do this. We really just want to keep a straight line for as long as possible, because that way we can keep momentum. It doesn't really matter if we hit the gates or not. We are going to get a time penalty for the challenge, but as long as we stay within 1:30, we're still going to pass the challenge. So really we just want to get down there no matter how many gates we miss. Alright. And there we go. That didn't actually take a minute, of course, because we got like 20 seconds worth of penalties there, or even more. But it was fast enough for our purposes. Alright. Passed that test, and now we are going right back down. Oh, let me jump, please. There we go. And we're gonna enter the gym. Now, this gym is the Ice-type gym. So, Flamigo as a flying type is kind of vulnerable to Ice-type moves, at least defensively, right? But on the other hand, fighting is super effective against Ice-types. So, offensively, we're fine, right? We just have to actually survive a turn of setup for the first time, because this is the first fight that actually requires a little bit of trickery to get through it. We're finally at that stage of the game where the battles are no longer very one-sided. Another favorite of mine in this game is Grusha, the Ice-type gym leader and femboy icon.
I never noticed the trans scarf.
Absolutely iconic.
Heck yes. Also, the cutest ice Pokemon ever.
Yeah, Citadel. It's amazing. Alright, so Grusha's gonna start out with Frostmoth, which is ice and bug types. So it's actually weak to both fighting and flying, I believe. We're just gonna hit it with a wing attack, because it's the shortest animation that we have. There we go. That was easy enough. Next up, he'll send out Bear Tick. Pure Ice type, so we're gonna swap over to Low Kick here. And next up, we'll get to see what Citadel will look like when it grows up. Extremely edgy. We're actually gonna set up with an X attack here. Now, X items in Pokemon games allow you to raise one of your stats in battle for the duration of the battle by 2. Now, what I mean by raising your stat by 2 is Pokemon. I got a Low Kick here. Pokemon. How to explain this? Pokemon uses combat stages to gauge buffs and debuffs in the battle. And it's kind of complex to explain, but basically raising our attack by 2 stages there effectively doubles it. And that's really all that we need to know for this run. And we specifically need this for the Altaria because it's a very bulky Pokemon. And without the X attack, we would run the risk of not being able to hit this, to KO this in one turn. But now we do. And using X items is just a tradition by now in Pokemon speedrunning because they're very overpowered, especially since they were buffed in a couple of generations ago. They used to only raise your stats by 1 stage, so that was a little bit weaker. But yeah, nowadays it's 2 stages, so like I said, you're basically doubling your attack in 1 turn. So yeah, that's Grusha, that's our 7th badge. Grusha's actually supposed to be the last gym leader that you beat, so yeah, we got through that pretty easily. But there's one more gym leader that we have to take on here. And it's the double battle gym that I was talking about earlier.
So if you try to do the double battle gym with just one Pokemon, it's going to tell you, not, you can't?
Exactly, yeah. They're just going to turn you away and say, come back with 3 Pokemon. Yeah. I mean, you would be at quite the disadvantage if you went into the gym with just one Pokemon.
Yes.
So I guess it's for the better, even though we did have to catch the second Pokemon for that.
Yeah.
Speaking of second Pokemon, time to get that out of the box. Now we actually, it's the lowest level it could possibly be at. We actually want to remember some moves here. We're going to teach Knockoff in slot 1. And then we're also going to teach Belly Drum. If I can find that, I keep forgetting where that is in the list. Oh, it's just literally first slot and I didn't look at it. In slot 4. I usually go for the backup, or I usually don't get Hariyama and Alphanetta Cavern and have to go for the backup, and you don't teach Belly Drum to the backup Hariyama because it's at a higher level, so it doesn't need that particular attack. Which is why I didn't know where in the list Belly Drum would show up. Alright, so now it's time to Hyper Train our Flamigo, which is what the bottle caps are for. I'm gonna talk to this guy. I'll make sure to select Flamigo here. I've definitely accidentally selected the chunk before. Attack and speed, start the training. And now this is going to mean that we will have maximum IVs in both of those stats, excuse me, which is going to be important for the Elite Four battles.
Nice.
And here we are, our final gem.
Can I read a quick donation then?
Yes, absolutely, go ahead.
All right, chat. Our time is quickly / slowly ticking down to the end of this run. If we want to see Path of Legends, we're currently at $140 out of $250, just over $100 more to get more Pokemon. And that's thanks to our most recent donation from Spider C for $50. It says, let's see Path of Legends? I assume Path of Legends? But thank you so much for that donation. And come on, chat, we are getting so close. More Pokemon, more trans rights.
Spider, thank you so much for that donation. So Spider is another runner of Pokemon Scarlet, who was in part responsible for huge reroute of the Path of Legends run that actually led me to have a world record in that run for 2.5 hours. So thank you, Spider, again for that, and thank you for that donation. Alright, well, like I said, this gym is all double battles, and we want to make sure to end the battles within one turn every time, and that is because in this gym, the crowd can actually cheer. What am I doing here? Wing attack, the Griever to just spam. Okay, there we go. In this gym, the crowd can actually cheer for either side of the battle, and that cheer will give that side of the battle a buff. But again, each buff comes with its own animation, and that takes time. So we want to avoid getting those cheers from the crowd, and we can just do that by getting through these within one turn. Luckily, both the Hariyama and the Flamigo are strong enough to knock most of these out in one turn, so we're fine, we're good. It's going to be a little bit more complex on the gym leader battle itself, because we cannot beat that in one turn.
Is it
But I'm going to explain it when we get there.
Cheers?
No, there are actually certain conditions that have to be met, so we can manipulate it in a way, even in the gym fight itself, where we only get one cheer, even though the crowd has 2 opportunities to do that. Okay. I need to wing attack the Mischievous and also knock off. Okay. Alright. Nightshade, that's actually pretty good. Honcho usually likes to go for Curse here, which is a super slow animation, so Nightshade was a little bit quicker. Love to see that. And that's the second battle here. And for the third battle, we actually won't be able to knock out both of the Pokemon. Mostly because Hariyama doesn't have a way of knocking out either one of the Pokemon in one hit, because it's a little too weak. Luckily, one of those Pokemon that's going to send out here, Drifblim, will always go for Self-Destruct, which is a move where it, well, self-destructs and deals damage to the enemy, right? So we're actually going to take out the Sableye here with Flamigo, and we're just going to go for knockoff on Drifblim with Hariyama, but well, Drifblim actually outspeeds the Hariyama, so it's just going to go for Self-Destruct here. There we go.
Balloon Ghost.
Still got through it in one turn though, so that's good news for us.
Nice.
I think that actually was the first organic level up that we've had in the entire run. Every other level up we've had was through candies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those were Well, these trainers are supposed to be the warm-up act, right? We're supposed to get the crowd all fired up for the main event, which is supposed to be like a rap battle, which a rap battle in Pokemon is exactly as cringe as you think it is. So we're not gonna go more into detail on that. We're just gonna leave the stage for now. We do have to report to the attendant to basically hand in the challenge, and then go straight back out to challenge the gym leader here.
Like, I kind of wish that we could do an actual rap battle, but I also appreciate that they didn't do it.
Yeah. I actually didn't even try to go for that. Like, she gives you an option to say that you're there for the rap battle. I didn't even go for that casually because I did not want to be confronted with whatever a Pokemon rap battle would look like.
I think casually, at least the first time, I tried it just because I wanted to see what happened. And she was like, not right now. I was like, okay, fine.
She is having a rap battle with some other random kid from the town. Mm-hmm. But, well, we're not here for that. We're here to battle.
Oh yeah, and I just had the thought. I know a lot of games, you see in the speedrunning community will be in other languages because, like, Japanese has less characters than English. But I see that you're running in English. Mm-hmm. Is it just doesn't matter for Pokemon Scarlet Violet?
Yeah. I actually don't know. I would think that Japanese is faster, but the Pokemon community as a whole has always allowed English as a separate category just to make it easier for the runners, basically. Okay. It's a little bit of a lower entry bar for new runners if you don't have to memorize the Japanese symbols for each move, for instance. And it's also nicer for streams, right? Because the people can actually read what's going on stream. So yeah, English is just the more popular category because of that. Alright, so we're gonna start this fight out by using Wing Attack on Bayonet here, and we're also gonna use Belly Drum on Hariyama. Now, Belly Drum is a very interesting move. It will halve our HP, but it's gonna max out our attack stat, which is huge. That is, I think our attack is multiplied by 4 or something at that point, which is, like I said, a lot. It does come with the risk that that the Hariyama can actually be taken out, so I really don't want to see the Mimikyu go for Slash on Hariyama next turn, because that would be bad. Now we're gonna see the cheer here in this turn, that this one we expect, this one we want, because this one will actually get a attack boost for Flamigo. Now Hariyama's attack is already maxed out, so it's not gonna get another boost here. But it's a nice boost, we take that, and there's really no way to avoid it. Now we take out the Houndstone here with Wing Attack, and then we're gonna use Knockoff on Mimikyu. Mimikyu has the ability Disguise, which basically means the first hit that it takes from full health will only ever do 1/8 of its HP. Like this. So we cannot take it out in one hit. But if we had taken it out this turn by focusing it in turn 1 instead of using Belly Drum, there would have been another cheer. Oh, there is another cheer?
Oh.
This is not supposed to happen. Okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is not supposed to happen. I don't know what I did wrong there. What am I doing here? Okay, this kind of confused me now. Anyway, I'm just gonna Wing Attack this and knock off the Mimikyu, I guess.
Sorry, you got this.
I did not think I would get my own "this has never happened before" moment, but I guess here we are.
I mean, it's your first marathon speedrun. If you didn't get it, that's never happened before. What are you doing?
That's true. I don't know. I think I have to go back and check the VOD to see what happened there. Maybe I can figure it out. So that's Mimikyu gone. Now the question is... Does Hariyama outspeed the toxicity? No. Oh. Oops. Well, guess we're gonna be here another turn.
Oops.
That's not supposed to happen. I should have healed Hariyama, I guess. That was my mistake. And that's another cheer. Losing a lot of time here. It's defense rolls. I hope I can still take it out here. I'm just gonna make sure and go for acrobatics here. Let's just get an Omni boost in every stat. Unfortunate. Okay, so goes down.
Okay.
Well, that was unfortunate, but hey, we beat the gym. I'm just gonna get rid of my blanket here. All right. Well, at least one thing had to go poorly in this run.
Again, you're trying to give chat a little bit more time to get that Path of Legends incentive.
Yeah. How's that going, by the way?
We are at $140 out of $250, so $110 away, and we have, what, not very long left in this run?
About a half hour.
Half hour. Okay, chat, if we have just even, each person donates like $1 or $2, we can maybe make it. Type !! donate in chat. We want more Pokemon! And also, raise money for Equality Texas Foundation. Both are good things.
Absolutely, yes. So, it's time to do some shopping here. We collected all of these items to sell across the run, and now's the time that we get to cash in. I'm gonna fly to the Pokemon Center because, of course, the Pokemon Mart is right next to it. And we're gonna do some selling here. Let's sell the Stardust, the Pearl String, the Rare Bone, and every TM that's worth 800 Pokédollars or more, which is a lot, as we can see. And then we're also gonna sell this iron and the lucky egg, and that's it. So we just got 116,000 Pokédollars there, which is quite a bit, and now we're immediately gonna spend that on some proteins. I wanna say 12, yes. Some carbos and some X attacks. Protein and carbos are what's called vitamins. Vitamins let you affect the other hidden stat in Pokemon called effort values. Effort values usually go up naturally by defeating enemy Pokemon, but these vitamins let you choose the stat that these values will go to. And protein will raise our effort values in attack, where carbos will raise the effort values in speed. So, like I said, we really have to be very fast and very strong to beat this Elite Four.
All right, we're almost at the Elite Four.
That's right, we're just gonna talk to this guy. He's gonna check our badges. We have all 8, so he's gonna let us in. And coming up is, well, something new. Something that's never been there in Pokemon. We actually have to pass an evaluation here, and so that's gonna be an interview. Actually, I should have pulled up the answers to this because I don't know them off the top of my head. So we actually we're gonna be interviewed by Rika here. And we have to pass that interview, otherwise she will send us away. Oops, there we go. Yes. There are correct answers to these questions, so I want to make sure to select them.
All right, well, while you're focused on that, I was going to say, do you want me to read a couple donations we got?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, while you're passing the interview test, we got $50 from Travis that says, "Keep it up, you're all doing great." Thank you so much, Travis. And thank you for that donation. We also got $20 from Anonymous that says, Pokemon and trans rights. Pokemon and trans rights. Thank you so much for that donation. And that means that we are at $210 out of $250. We are so close to unlocking Path of Legends. Come on, chat, just a couple more donations. We're getting close to the end. Let's go.
That's so close. And all we have to do here is beat the Elite Four and we're done, basically. So
you heard her, chat. That $40 left. We just need $40 to unlock extra Pokemon. So, and we don't have much time. So get your donations in.
all right, we passed the interview.
Yay!
Including the final question, do you like Pokemon? The hardest question in the run. And yeah, we're gonna challenge the Elite Four here. And I'm actually gonna save during this because some of these battles can actually go pretty wrong. Usually you wouldn't be able to save here because, like I said, we prepare these save files. So if you save, they're basically lost forever. But this is a marathon. For marathon safety, I'm going to save before the risky fights. And the first fight is immediately going to be quite risky.
All right.
Gonna make our way here into the Elite Four chamber.
Can I read a donation really quick? We have $10 from Chudley that says $10 train on the path to legends. Thank you so much. Let's get that. We are only $30 away from Path of Legends now.
All right. So close. But we do still have to get through this Elite Four. I'm going to start with Rika, who's just amazing. But sadly, we do have to fight her. We can't just hang out with her. So we do have to set up the next attack here. This Whiscash is going to go for Future Sight every time. Future Sight is a Psychic type move that hits 2 turns after its use. But we are weak to Psychic, which is pretty inconvenient for us. But we can just take out the Whiscash with Acrobatics. Now the reason why it's pretty bad for us that we're gonna get hit by that Future Sight is we also have to tank one more hit later in the fight. And combined with the Future Sight damage, that can get pretty close when it comes to our HP. So I actually had to check the defensive stats of this Flamingo earlier, because if they were too low, I would have had to go for a slightly slower backup strat here. So we're gonna get hit by Future Sight. That's perfectly alright damage-wise, even though it looks like a lot. And out comes the Dawnfen. Now this Dawnfen has Sturdy as an ability. I explained that earlier, but sadly double kick would not be enough to take this out in one hit. Okay, great, we didn't die. So we actually have to use 2 turns here to take out the Dawnfen. Which can be pretty scary because Stone Edge has a high critical hit rate, so again, we could have just died to a crit there. Luckily that didn't happen. Which means we're gonna actually make a past Rika here.
Yay!
And out comes the Clodsire. Her ace Pokemon, that's right. We're talking about this earlier. And there it is.
Clodsire. It's just so cute.
It's really cute, yeah. This Clodsire can be a little bit mean in that it can just go for Protect here and waste a turn. So we don't want to see that. Let's see, what are we getting here? Great, no Protect, so that's it. That's Rika, first Elite Four member down.
Yay!
There's going to be a little bit of cutscene here, so if you want to read another donation, now's the time.
Sure. We have $20 from Purple Paladin that just says Jigglypuff. I assume that's a request, so I will attempt to do the song. Jigglypuff, Jigglypuff. It's not quite right, but it's close enough.
Absolutely.
We also had $5 from Limmy that just says donation. Thank you so much. We are literally $5 away from getting the Path of Legends. We are so close, and also the time is coming up on this run, so get the $5 in.
Alright, we do have to heal here before we go in, but luckily Pokemon introduced an auto heal feature where you can just press a button in this overview screen and don't have to actually select any healing items. So we can just head back into this battle. I also forgot to save, so this is going to be fun. Let's hope I don't lose. Because we can lose this fight, and then I'd have to do both Rika and Poppy over again. So, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Just gonna start out with Copperajah. This thing can be a little bit mean because we do have to set up on it. Again, X item that we're gonna be using here. But Copperajah can go for a move called Play Rough. Play Rough has a chance to drop our attack. And if it does that, the fight is basically over because we don't have the chance to boost our attack again in this fight. So, and we wouldn't actually be strong enough to... Okay, good. I held my breath there for a second. We didn't get the attack drop. We wouldn't actually have been strong enough to take out each and every one of Poppy's Pokemon here. So I didn't get punished for forgetting to save.
I was curious, if you get beaten by one of the Elite Four members in this gen, do you have to start all over if you didn't save?
Yeah.
Oof.
So, the games tend to be getting a little bit easier every time, but they didn't make it that easy. So you do have to fight every one of the Elite Four members again, as far as I know. Which means if we lose later on, that's pretty bad.
Yes.
We just took out the Magnezone there. That's another Pokemon with Sturdy, but since it's Steel type, it's weak to fighting, so we were able to use Double Kick again. Bronzong, and now comes her final Pokemon, her ace, Tinkaton, which is another new Pokemon in this gen with a pretty interesting design, I want to say.
Definitely. Tinkaton is like cute, but also intimidating.
Yeah, I would not want to be hit with that hammer.
Definitely not.
Now this is usually, I think, Steel and Fairy type, which would not be weak to fighting, but because Puppy's gonna Terrestrialize it to Steel, it's gonna lose that fighting resistance from the Fairy type, so we're actually gonna hit it for super effective damage with Low Kick here, after all. Yay. And that's the second Elite Four member down. That's 2 more left, and the champion. And our final rival fight is also still coming up, so 4 more battles, and that's the run.
Well, and we got a $5 donation from Dorkmaster Fleck that says, "Get those legends, let's go." Definitely, thank you so much, chat. That got us to unlock the Path of Legends once this Elite Four is done. We get more Pokemon, we raised a lot of money, but also the event's not over. We're still raising money, we still have more to do. But I want to let you focus on who's coming into the room now for the Elite Four.
Larry's back.
It's Larry!
So not only does he have a day job in an office, and not only does he lead the gym in Medley, he also is an Elite Four member. And he's had a really long day. So we're just gonna try our best to put him out of his misery here as quick as we can. Yeah. Sadly for Larry, even though he's a king, he once again is pretty easy, even in this Elite Four. He is going to start out with the Tropius here. Now we want to see the Tropius go for Sunny Day, because if it goes for Sunny Day, we won't have to heal after the fight. If it goes for a damaging move here, then we have to heal, which this is a little bit of time. So let's go Sunny Day.
Yay!
Perfect. Now he does this because the Tropius also has Solar Beam, and Solar Beam would usually charge for a turn and then fire a very strong grass type move at you. But if the weather is sunny, Solar Beam does not need that turn to charge up. So that's the strat here, but Tropius never gets to move, so he set the sun up for nothing. Staraptor actually makes an appearance on his second team here as well, because he's actually using the flying type for this fight and not the normal type that he uses in his gym battles. But Staraptor is both normal and flying type, so yeah, it's just in both of his teams. Ataria also makes a second appearance here after Grusha's team.
I remember Altaria being so scary in earlier gens.
Yeah, in Skylar's gym in Ruby and Sapphire, that was really scary. Just setting up a couple of dragon dances. That thing was impossible to defeat. And out comes his ace. It's a mirror matchup against another Flamingo, but of course we're 9 levels higher, so we're much faster. We're gonna make quick work of this, even though it's gonna get terrestrialized here. And it just has balloons on his head now.
I love the appearance of the terrestrializations.
Yeah. Alright, we hit level 70, we defeat Larry, that's the third leader down. And then comes the fourth one. We've seen him before. It's going to be Hassel. Hassel, like Lance and Drake before him, is a dragon type trainer. Luckily, unlike Lance, he has a lot more options when it comes to dragon type Pokemon. It's not all Dragonite. So we're going to see some different interesting dragon type Pokemon on Hassel's team here. Yeah, Larry absolutely has had an extremely long day. He just wants to go to bed at this point, I would imagine. And who can blame him? This Flamingo will be haunting his nightmares. So I'm just gonna safety save here. Nothing should go wrong during Hassel's fight, but well, you know, I haven't saved since before Rika, so better safe than sorry.
Makes sense.
We didn't take any damage on Larry, so I didn't have to heal. We can just go in and battle the last Elite Four member here.
And while you're fighting Hassel, can I just take a second to let people know what's coming up?
Sure.
So, of course, we met that Path of Legends incentive because you all are amazing, chat, but we still have lots of games coming up. We have a new incentive opened to help trans women for our upcoming game, Lumberjack. So, obviously, we all want to help trans women, right? That's why we're here, donating to Equality Texas Foundation. So get those donations in to help trans women for Lumberjack. And if we reach a total of $1,800 before, middle of tonight, that will unlock our bonus game 2 for Pump It Up XX Anniversary Edition. So go ahead, keep those donations coming. Even though we have more Pokemon, we still have more events too. All right. Oh no.
Unfortunately, we did get poisoned here, which is a time loss because we will have to take a turn healing that. Otherwise, the poison would kill us by the end of the battle. We don't want that. That's a 30% chance to happen. So, wow. It better to happen here than on an actual PB attempt, I suppose, but still annoying to see.
I swear, this version today just wants to make sure we get most Pokemon we can get.
Absolutely. I've been having some pretty bad luck so far when it comes to these small RNG things. Yeah, I don't want to risk it. I think I could actually live another turn of poison here, but I'm just going to full restore. Yes, to use it on Flamigo. There we go, we're back to full. We can definitely take a Dragon Claw from Hexorus here. And then we just go back to low kicking. And out comes this Ace, another new Pokemon for this generation, Excalibur, which is a Dragon Ice type, I believe. But he's just gonna make a pure Dragon type out of it by terrestrializing. It's actually a pretty interesting Pokemon. There currently is a different route for this category where we would actually use Excalibur as our Pokemon. But so far it hasn't proven to be faster than Flamigo. So it's very much still work in progress. Sadly, that is all that we see from Excalibur in this run. For now. Alright, that's the Elite Four. We beat all 4 of them. Time to take on the champion after another little bit of cutscene here, where Hassel bursts out into tears.
Yay.
He's just an emotional guy. And we love him for it.
It's true.
We also get healed here, which is pretty nice, so I don't have to worry about that. Especially because our acrobatics PP has been getting pretty low. And that will also be refilled here. That's the standard Pokemon healing sound right there. Larry's about to wish us good luck and Hassel's just launching into his own monologue. Well,
I mean, Hassel is our art teacher as well, so...
That's true, right? He's also a teacher at the academy. Alright, time for the champion fight. I'm just gonna safely save again. Not really need to do that again. Champion fight, we shouldn't die, but just in case, you know, we could get a critical hit, maybe that ruins our day, but yeah, we'll just hope for the best.
We are still trying to go fast.
Yes, ideally. Now the champion battle takes place on top of this building. Well, not quite on top, there's still a roof over our heads here, but it is in the open air. And also, if you played the game, you'll notice the sound of a gimme ghoul around, which always makes me perk up. Because I was obsessed with finding those coins during my casual playthrough. Alright, we don't want to set up Honest Pathway because that's, again, a psychic type, which we are weak to. So that wouldn't end well. We just want to get rid of that as quickly as possible by using acrobatics here. And then her second Pokemon is a Go-Goat, which is kind of strange. It's a pretty unique Pokemon. We don't really know why Gita uses a Go-Goat. But hey, we're not complaining, right? We can just set up here. We won't be in any danger. Now Go-Goat can waste her time here because it can either go for an attacking move or it can go for a setup move. And if it goes for an attacking move like this, Gita will have some extra attacks here that she wouldn't have otherwise. So yeah, this Go-Goat just wasted our time a little bit, but it's fine. We can just swing attack it now. And the next up is her King Gambit. Another new evolution to a pre-existing Pokemon in this game.
It's very difficult to evolve yourself.
Yeah. But we take it out no problem because it's 4 times weak to fighting, so of course it's gonna die to a low kick here.
Flamigo really is a little OP.
A little bit, yes. Here's another Veluza. We've seen that on Kofu. And just take that out with a wing attack. And out comes the reason why we even have to set up on this fight, and that's Avalak. Avalak has incredibly high defense. So we really need to be at least at +1 stat-wise. Can't go into this with neutral attack. Otherwise we would not be able to take out this Avalak with one shot. And because it's an ice type, it hits us pretty damn hard as well if we can't get rid of it in one turn. And out comes her Ace, which this Pokemon is actually exclusive, more or less exclusive to Area 0, which is an area that we would not be able to reach at this point. Now the first stage of it can actually be obtained outside of Area 0, but I actually never saw one of those before I fought Gita, so this was my first time facing a Glimmora casually.
Yeah, casually I had the same thing. I was like, wait, what is that?
Wait, what is that? It's a rock poison type. Of course, it's going to be a pure rock type after terrestrialization, so yeah, it's weak to fighting. You get rid of it pretty easily, and that's the champion.
Woohoo!
That's right. We've become a champion, but sadly we haven't proven ourselves to be the very best, because there's one trainer that we just have not been able to beat the entire run. That's right. That's right, we do have to fight Nemona to prove our worth here. She's the final boss of the storyline.
And we have to actually beat her this time?
Yes, we do have to actually beat her this time. No more sending in Lechonk or for Coco to take the hit or anything. We do have to beat her to finish the story. There's a little bit of a cutscene here, so there is a nice last little spot to read some donations if you have any.
All right. No new donations since we got the Path of Legends, but I just do want to remind you that, of course, we do have donations going towards the great cause of Equality Texas and the Equality Texas Foundation, which seeks to educate, motivate, and activate all Texans to end discrimination based on sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. And, you know, we do have those new incentives as well as our new, goal to get the bonus game. So go ahead, keep those donations coming, even though, we already have more Pokemon.
That is true. We do have more Pokemon here, which is just great. Thank you so much for everyone who donated for that. I think Battle Legends is a very fun category, and I'm glad to be able to show that off here in a bit. But first, we do have to defeat Nemona in the central plaza of Mesagoza, where we started this run, so we are coming full circle here. But before we get there, we do have to use one last item, and that's the hasty mint I mentioned like 2 hours ago. So we're gonna go into the bag here, use this mint, which is gonna make us be very fast for this next fight. And then we can actually fight Nemona. And maybe actually win this time. And yeah, you see this cutscene right here, right? There's no text boxes here. It's an actual cutscene. But somehow the skip cutscene option does not skip this cutscene, and we don't know why. It's just resistant to it, I guess. I mean, it is a pretty climactic moment in the story, but still, so are other cutscenes that are skipped. I just don't know. It doesn't make sense.
They just wanted to make sure we all saw this.
Yeah. I haven't been really talking about the music of this game that much outside of that one gym challenge, but the Nemona fight here, the last one, has a pretty hyped theme, so I'm glad that you'll get to hear it here in a second. Just gonna head out to her Lycan Rock. We have seen this a couple of times, murdering our other children. But Flamigo's not gonna go down that easily. We still have to set up an X attack here, our final X attack of the run. And all that can go wrong here is that the Lycan Rock can crit us with Stone Edge, which loses like 30 seconds. And we actually do get crit again. This happened to me on Wednesday. This happened to me on Wednesday. This is on my last run for this marathon. This now means that we have to heal, which is really unfortunate because Lycan Rock would otherwise go for Accelerock, which is a priority move, so we'll always go first, which means there it goes. We will not be able to get out of this fight. Now I can go for Low Kick. Yeah, that's very slow, because if Nemona gets a critical hit, she gets some extra attacks, you have to heal, you have to see another attack out of Lycanroc. It's all very slow. Yeah. So like I said, I had this happen to me on Wednesday. I had a run that was on a solid 2-hour 15-minute pace, which would have been like second place on the leaderboards. And then I got crit. And my final time was 2:16 and 3 seconds. Because of that. Really unfortunate. Really, really unfortunate.
It's all right. This game just wants more, support for trans rights. Speed stuff for trans lives too. More Pokemon. That's all.
Absolutely. We're taking out the Dunsparce, so this one has a little bit of a longer body, so I guess it should be called Dunsparce, but it isn't. We're going to be seeing a little bit more of this Pokemon later on, since everyone has donated generously to unlock the Path of Legends run. And last but certainly not least is Nemona's ace, and she's actually going to be sending out her starter Pokemon, and because we chose the Fire starter, she chose the Grass starter. And this Pokemon is incredibly fast, and that's the only reason why we put everything into speed and attack here, so that we can outspeed this Pokemon. Dunsparce, yes, exactly. And now I'm just imagining Ricky saying that. Alright. One last wing attack here to take out Nemona's ace, and that's it. That's the run. There's a little bit more cutscene here before we can actually stop the timer for the run. So, yeah. Final fight. We made it. We finally beat Nemona after how many fights that we couldn't get going. And yeah, there's another unskippable cutscene, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
I feel like...
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, I feel like her excitement in this one makes a lot more sense than casually, where we've been just kicking her over and over again. This one, like, she always defeated us, so it makes even more sense for her to be excited.
Yeah, it's a true Cinderella story for us, right? We're coming back here out of nowhere, actually defeating her. I mean, again, I prepared this save file in a way where the only time I've ever beaten her is in the very first fight that you do in her backyard to test out the starter Pokemon, right? Every other fight since then, we've lost against her.
Yep.
Yeah, she's definitely proud of us that we managed to defeat her here, and yeah, that basically means we've reached our goal. We've become the very best. There's no one better than Nemona, at least not in this general area, I want to say. Yeah, and there's going to be a title card here that basically just says Victory Road completed, and as soon as the border of that title card disappears, that's going to be time. So it's coming up right away. Time.
Yay!
All right, yeah, that's Victory Road. Thank you so much for donating to unlock the next run, though.
I was going to say, more Pokemon, Path of Legends.
All right, how are we doing on time? 2:16. I didn't prepare it quite this way. I assumed that I would have less time in my time slot here, so I actually prepared a save file for this category, where we're just gonna do, well, I want to say 80% of the Path of Legends run, because for Path of Legends we would usually beat Cloth as the first boss. But, let me see. Actually, you know what? No, we're going to see the entire run. I don't think it would be fair. I thought I had less time for this, but I think I can do it in an hour. Again, world record for Path of Legends is about 52 minutes. So my PB is 52:50 or something. I actually forgot what that was. But yeah, we should be able to do it in an hour, I hope, even if things do go wrong. So yeah, we're going to be starting out again right here in the plaza of Mesagoza, right where we started off last time. Now I did prepare here a second save file here with a different starter, and that is because we're going to be using our grass starter for this basically entire run. And yeah, I think the clock's still running, so I'm just going to start right away.
All right.
Now we lost the ability to dash because, of course, we haven't beaten Clove here. First thing that we're going to do for this run is we're going to buy some X attacks in the shop. 3 of them that we're going to use way later, and then we're going to do the same thing that we did in the beginning of Victory Road, where we fly out to the east center and jump the fence to skip the cutscene and unlock the eastern fly point here to return to later. But we don't want to stick around. We don't want to actually go to Clove quite yet. We are going to take a detour. At this time, we're not flying to Los Platos. We are flying to the Pocopath Lighthouse, which is another early game landmark. That's actually where the Pokemon lab of the Pokemon professor of this region used to be, but she kind of vanished. So she's not there anymore, and the lab is empty. We're gonna BHA our way up here, and then we're gonna head towards this bit, and we're gonna drop down this ledge. Collect this TM. This is Grass Knot. Now, Grass Knot is an interesting move. It's a special grass type move that scales with the weight of the enemy. And since all of the Titans are gonna be pretty heavy, Grass Knot has the potential to hit quite hard. Our problem is our grass starter is actually more of a physical attacker. So it's kind of a weird situation where we have to rely on our worst stat for attacking, but it still works out, it's still good. Come on, jump up here, please. And also, because this is a Scarlet run after all, we're still collecting a bunch of these experience candies. You also saw me send out my Pokemon there with the feature called the Let's Go feature. And I sent it to battle a Hawlucha that was way higher leveled and also typing-wise much stronger against my poor little grass cat. The reason for that is that the grass starters always have a certain ability called Overgrow. Overgrow makes it so that we receive a 50% boost on our grass type moves if we are at 1/3 health or lower. So we actually purposefully weaken our cat here to get it into Overgrow, which will let us one-shot Clove later. We're just gonna give it this L candy and we're gonna teach it Grass Knot. And then I'm looking for a Swablu or a Murkrow. That's a Swablu right there to send out the cat again. So it will get... Oh, it was much healthier than I thought it would be. Just wait a second. Oh, it defeated the Swablu. Well, good that I caught that in time. I can just send it off to this Swablu. That wasn't supposed to happen, but I guess we got here after all. Caught it in time. And now we can fly back to the east gate here. And yeah, this movement bit here, we were also supposed to see in the Victory Road run, but I skipped it on accident. Picked up the Pokédoll that I was talking about way earlier, and we're also gonna pick up an energy root here. That's the healing item that we may be able to use later if we get hit hard, where we don't want to get hit hard. And then we're gonna make our way back to Clove. Now, this cat that I'm using here, actually, like I said, I didn't think I would be able to show off the entire category time-wise. So this is an old save from way back when we were running physical cat strats, where we didn't use Grass Knot. So this cat isn't actually optimal for use. That is why I'm picking up this Hasty Mint, and I'm also going to be using that here before the Clove fight, because this cat is actually has a minus special attack nature. And that's not great if you want to use Grass Knot. So yeah, I'm gonna override its nature with Hasty. We wouldn't need that Hasty Mint otherwise, so might as well use it here. It is an extra menu, which is why I'm not using this cat usually for my runs. But that is also why I can just delete this save file after this marathon without looking back. we jump down here. We're going to collect another candy over there that we're going to need much later again. And then I'm going to just do that extra menu and use the hasty mint. Nope. There you go. And yeah, now we're going to Clove. Clove is right over there on the cliff. That is where it usually would be. Now, when we get close, it's going to start climbing up the mountain, so we're going to follow it. I always take the most direct line here, because otherwise we're just going to be waiting for Clove to catch up to us when we get up to that platform. Here we go. And as soon as it's here, it's going to start the battle. Our very first Titan of the run.
Again.
That's right. And like I said, we set it up in a way where one grass knot will take it out. For the first phase here, the grass knot overgrowth setup isn't actually that important, but in the second phase, because Clove ate the herb that we came here for, it's actually buffed and it has higher HP. So yeah, for that we definitely need the overgrow ability to be active. Because this is kind of a double battle, right? Because Arven, our buddy here, is helping us out, but that also means that there's going to be one extra attack per turn, so not getting a one-shot here means that much more time loss. So we don't want that to happen. Grass knot and this shit again. Take it out in one hit here.
Yay!
Yeah, we got it. So we didn't have to sit through anger shell proccing. I was talking about this at the beginning of Victory Road. The ability that Clove has, that is just very slow if you accidentally trigger it. So we got around that. We beat Clove, and now starts a cutscene, the same cutscene we sat through earlier. But this gives me the opportunity to talk about the Path of Legends story a little bit. So Arven here approaches us at school. Actually, never mind. We meet him for the first time in front of the lighthouse that we just passed by, because he's the son of the Pokemon professor. And he actually notices, he recognizes our right Pokemon that we just found, basically. And says he's seen it somewhere before. And he also carries around its Pokeball for some reason. It's not really explained at that point of the game why he has that. But yeah, we meet him way later in school, where he tells us that he wants to find these herbs, Herba Mystica is what they are called. And he also knows that each of these is guarded by a Titan Pokemon that has eaten the herb and has gotten incredibly strong because of it. And also incredibly big, because Clove usually isn't that large, you know, you've seen regular size Clove right in front of it. So yeah, he asks us to help him find these spots, defeat the Titans, and get him access to those herbs. He also makes us sandwiches out of those, or with those, as a topping, I guess, every time. And every time we're about to eat them, and then Koraidon just comes out of the Pokeball and is like, "Is that for me? Can I eat that?" And of course, we're good buddies here with our right Pokemon, so we're just gonna give it to it, and it's gonna be happy about that, and it's gonna regain one of its abilities, because usually Koraidon can do a lot. You know, it's supposed to be a legendary Pokemon, but it kind of crashes out early in the story, where it has an entire breakdown and loses all of its abilities. So we're basically doing this to regain Koraidon's abilities and have it be at full strength again. Now, again, we don't know what Arven's motivation is, but he's acting kind of shady about it, so I guess we'll find out maybe on the next cutscene after the next
Arven is definitely like that character where at the beginning you're like, oh, I don't like this guy, but by the end you're like, oh my god, it's Arven!
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I was a little shocked actually that, you know, spoilers, but that you're actually fighting him at the end here.
Yeah.
It's like, Why? So yeah, we're fading to black here. Arvin's acting shady, like I said. And we're actually going to get a call from his mother about something else entirely. Because she's actually just talking about Koraidon now being able to dash. There she is, in all her glory. Now, if we were playing Violet instead of Scarlet, this would be a man named Turo. So, who would also be Arvin's dad, but I don't know how this works exactly. It feels like Arvin's kind of a child of the multiverse, maybe. You know, with his mom being in one universe and his dad being in the other, but, you know, there's no sign of Turo in this game. I didn't need to pick up the pulse string, that was Victory Road Brain right there. I do have to get up here though, because we basically are doing the same pathing that we did for Victory Road here in the beginning. The same movements. And also gonna drop down into that little pit and collect the full restore that was down there, because that could come in handy later. That's this item. Why am I running past it? Yeah. Right, so I don't think I have anything else to say in the story for now.
Okay. Well,
I'm just gonna jump across the river here. Yes?
Okay, so I can remind everyone. Well, so I double checked our schedule, and so the next game, the very next game that we have up on the schedule after this Path of Legends is Lumberjack, being run by Happy Bear, and there is that incentive to help trans women for Lumberjack. So it's only $50. If we can reach that, you'll get to help trans women, and isn't that what we're here for? And then that bonus game too, if we can reach $1,800 total in donations, is going to be right after Lumberjack. So we actually don't have a lot of time to raise that last money. Now we are at $1,685 right now, so it's only, you know, it's less than $200 away, but we do want to make sure, you know, we're raising the money so we can get our extra bonus game, we can help trans women, and, you know, more speedrunning, more fun.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, want to collect that. It's a full heal, definitely helpful to us for later. And yeah, this movement again mirrors the movement that we did for Victory Road in this part. But we're luckily not going up the mountain in this category. So I don't have to worry about mountain movement this time. Instead, we're just gonna jump into the hole, but at a different spot here, because we want to grab a certain TM that is gonna be right down here, and that's Aura Sphere, which is a very strong special fighting type move that we're gonna be using for the next two Titans. And it's kind of interesting because, well, one of the three starters, the water starter, actually has the gets the fighting type later, and that would hugely benefit of being able to. Oh, what was that?
Uh-oh.
That Pokemon just what is happening right now? Who am I fighting? Game, what are you doing?
The game wants you to fight the mountain. Obviously.
I guess so. What? I didn't even get away. Okay, that's why I picked up. Nope, that's why I picked up the Pokédoll. I wasn't faster than this mountain, apparently. At this game sometimes, I don't know.
Level 34 wall. Yes.
Yeah. I think it was a deerling that spawned inside the wall there, but, you know, why? Game, why? So I lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was talking about. That deerling just erased it.
No issue. Going fast. Doing Path of Legends.
Alright, I was talking about the other starter Pokemon. So yeah, the water starter in this game can actually cannot learn Aura Sphere, even though it is fighting type, part fighting type at least. Whereas our starter will evolve into a grass dark type. So really, there's no reason why it should be able to learn Aura Sphere, but it can. And we're just going to use that. Alright, we're gonna get another one of those calls from Arvin because there's another Titan lair very close to here, but all we are here for is this tower because touching it will give us the flight point for this area, so we can return here later when we actually want to fight that Titan, which is actually going to be the last Titan that we fight. So we're back in Zapapico, which is where we fell off the mountain. And we're gonna make our way to the actual second Titan that we fight. But of course, on the way, we're collecting some more candies. Like that M candy over there in the corner. There it is. I've actually... I played an entire Victory Road run without mentioning it, but you see me zoom in the camera all the time. Like this, you know? And the reason I'm doing that is that it reduces lag, or at least we hope that it reduces lag, because this game is pretty poorly optimized. So if we just reduce our field of view, we reduce the amount of things that need to be rendered, and thus hopefully reduce the lag. It does, however, mean that we have less time to react to Pokemon spawning right in front of us, or sometimes, I don't know, mountains attacking us, I don't know. Don't want to mess with that mountain.
I mean, chat is very interested in Deerling wall form. So.
Oh, we don't want to hit that. Good.
So I was gonna ask, so I know for the Victory Road, you do the gyms like in a, very like not expected order. For the Titans, is it a little more expected order?
A little bit, yes. We do switch the second and third Titan around. So Clove's supposed to be the first one you beat. And then, what am I doing here? Just put some candies into the cat. It's going to evolve here into its final form. Clove's supposed to be the first one that we beat, but then the next one that we beat right here, right next to this spot that we are at right now, would usually be the third Titan. Then we're going to beat the second Titan right after. And 4 and 5 we do in the correct order. So it's a little less chaotic, I would say. So we want to teach Flower Trick. Flower Trick is the special move for this Pokemon, Yaskarada, which is a physical grass type move with, I think, 70 power that always crits. So that's incredibly valuable. We're also going to teach Aura Sphere, and Slot knows that one was correct. Almost taught it above Grass Knot, which would have been bad because we still need that. And then we go through this little tunnel, and right there is our next little Titan. We gotta play whack-a-mole with it. And then we can fight it. And this is Orthworm. We've already seen it as part of Nemona's team on Victory Road. But this one is, extra large. And I do have to say, because I've played Path of Legends a lot, and I played Path of Legends before I played Victory Road, every time I see the small Orthworm on Nemona's team, I have to chuckle a little bit because it kind of looks ridiculous to me. I'm so used to seeing giant Orthworm that the little small one just,
I feel like
it seems so
large,
cute.
like the Orthworm Titan just looks right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get why they wouldn't make a Pokemon this large, but like for a regular fight, right? But I don't know, couldn't it just have been this large? Well, this is the second area. It's going to be a little bit more whack-a-mole here.
Are they predetermined spots for Orthworm?
And then, yes, they are predetermined spots, but if you take too long for the second hit there, it's actually going to go to a different spot. So it's not going to go straight into this cutscene trigger. It's just going to go to the other side of the crater, which is very slow. So you want to make sure that after you trigger the first movement there, that you immediately go to the second location. Now, this cat actually has 31 IV special attack, which is perfect IV. Which means we are guaranteed to take out this Orthworm phase 2 with Aura Sphere. There's no trouble here. Usually Pokemon has a random component to its damage calculations. And sometimes speedrunners like to live on the edge, so sometimes you just get a bad Pokemon on your end, and it's not going to be quite as strong to always knock out the enemy. For instance, the cat that I use for this run currently has a 15 and 16 range on this Pokemon, which just means that out of the 16 different random damage rolls that we could get, 15 deal enough damage to take this out in one hit, but one roll, the lowest roll, is not enough. So in theory, in 1 in 16 attempts, I would not be able to take out the Earthworm. Alright, there's a little bit more cutscene here, and I'm just gonna make us a sandwich. From this, we are gonna gain the ability to jump high from Earthworm, which would have been useful when we were doing the candy collecting, but that's all behind us. So we won't be able to use that anymore. At least not for that. We will be doing a little bit more movement here after this cutscene. But yeah, it's too little too late here, game. Also, Corrado once again, of course, eats our sandwich, but this time it gets a little greedy. It actually also wants to eat Arvin's sandwich, but Arvin doesn't like that. No, he doesn't. Because Arvin has saved his sandwich for his own Pokemon. Because this is the cutscene in which he reveals that he's looking for the herbs to cure his sick dog. Which, that is not a plot point I was expecting in this storyline at all. Immediately, my sympathy for Arvin skyrocketed immediately. Right? It was like... I was suspicious, and then I was like, of course, yeah, we're gonna go straight to the next Titan. We're gonna get your dog that medicine.
Especially the more you find out about his poor sick dog, and it's just like, no, we must help it.
Yeah. Yeah. Poor thing. There we go. It's gonna go for the sandwich right here, and Evan's gonna get mad about that.
I remember, playing this casually up until this point. It's kind of like, what is Art like? You know, is Arvin like the bad guy? He's the secret bad guy, and that's why he's being suspicious. And then this, and you learn about the pupper.
And they designed this Pokemon in a way where it's like, it looks like a really old dog, right? It's an old man, just kind of, you know, we really want to get him back on his feet. Come on. So yeah, from now on, we're also in this not just to unlock more movement options for Koraidon, but also to cure the dog.
That is the point of Path of Legends. We are here to help cure the pupper.
Absolutely. Yeah, so... Oh, right. He actually manages to open his eyes here. For the first time in forever. So Alvin is really choked up about this, which is really cute.
I'm pretty sure I actually cried in at least one of the Titan, like, these sections. I was like, oh my god.
Well, sadly we cannot stay with this dog forever. We do have to get going again.
Well, we have to go cure him, right?
Yeah, we do have to go cure him. So, duty calls, and so does Seda, just informing us that we can jump high now. But we're gonna fly to Mesagoza again, because we now have to go to the other side of the map. Let me actually fly, thank you. We have to go to the other side of the map, and on the way we do have to buy some items. And also collect some more items, of course. Gonna run straight through this little alleyway, because there's a rare candy at the end of it, and then we'll jump down right here and head to the shop over there where we want to buy a Miracle Seed. Miracle Seed is an item that will give us a 20% boost on grass type moves, so really, really useful for grass type Pokemon. And then, whoa, I bumped into the wall. I wanted to jump over the wall again because it's shorter than going to the gate and going through the gate. And it's going to put us right outside of the gate where we will start moving toward our next Titan, excuse me. I'm gonna take these jumps as low as possible so you don't lose the dash. So if you jump high, you will no longer be dashing. So we're back on this olive field. Oh, oops, what? I was already past you. Why did this trigger? Well, we're just hitting encounters left and right, but this time it's actually a Pokemon and not a wall. So I guess we're making progress in that regard. We do also want to pick up the adamant that we picked up earlier in Victory Road. That's right here. And then we're going right past the olive roll area. Luckily, we don't have to do that anymore. Oh, don't want to hit the Starlies. Damn, Olive. Alright.
I wish it was as easy as that made it look like a big open field, right?
Yeah. The obstacle course is only set up after you've accepted the challenge. This area is a little tricky because there's a lot of small Pokemon that can spawn in the grass and are pretty hard to see. One of them is even green, Capsicum. Let's hope that I don't accidentally run into one of those. Run right across here and jump across the river. I want to hit the Weezer.
Can I read a donation while you're running?
Yes, you can.
We got $50 from Zello that says, insert witty joke about lumberjack here. Well, I don't have a witty joke, but that does mean that we met the incentive to help trans women. Thank you so much. And guess what? A new incentive has opened. This one a bid war, because after lumberjack is that bonus game if we can reach $1,800. You're only $65 away from, so keep those donations coming! ! Donate.
So we have to dodge these boulders that kind of look like, I don't know, Cocoa Puffs. I'm actually going to be facing the bird, the big bird, not the one from Sesame Street, but this big bird that we saw flying atop the mountain when we were fighting Kofu earlier. So that's it. That's one bird here. Right here. I'm just gonna hit it with an Aura Sphere because Bombardier is part Dark type, I think. So even though it's also Flying type, it would take neutral damage from Aura Sphere.
Such an interesting Pokemon design. Like, I like how it looks until it drops the flap.
Yeah, that is kind of strange. That is true. All right, well, here comes phase 2. Luckily, because we have amazing special attack, we should be more or less guaranteed to take it out with another Aura Sphere here. Let me actually check that real quick. I'm just gonna do it anyway. Yeah, we're actually guaranteed to take it out with Aura Sphere. My cat, the one that I use for PP attempts, has a 10 and 16 range here, so only 10 out of 16 times do I actually get to take this out in one turn. So being guaranteed is pretty nice, pretty convenient. That's Titan number 3 that we've just defeated. This one will unlock the ability to swim. Feels kind of strange to have a bird Titan that doesn't give you the ability to fly, but instead gives you the ability to swim, but you know, that's what it is. We'll take it. We will actually use that just a little bit when we're going to the 5th Titan here. But for now, there's another cutscene where, yeah, like I said, we're gonna eat another sandwich, and the dog is also gonna be strengthened by another Herba Mystica here.
I have to say, did you ever try in that first cutscene for the Herba Mystica, did you ever try to not give Koraidon or Miraidon the sandwich?
I never have done it on purpose. I think I accidentally mashed B once while I was speedrunning, but I didn't read the text afterwards, so what happens?
So my second playthrough, I purposefully tried to deny the sandwich, and it ends you up in a loop of, don't you want to give him the sandwich? Basically, like, isn't he so cute? He needs the sandwich. And it won't let you say no.
Of course, that's classic Pokemon right there. The illusion of choice. Yes, I do want to give him the sandwich, or,
yes.
you know. I do really like Koraidon. I think it is very lovable.
It is. And it's such a cool design.
Yes, that too. I mean, it looks pretty intimidating in its battle form that it would regain in the late game, but we're not going to get to see that. But that looks pretty great too. In this form, I think it looks cute. I just want to cuddle it. if the tire thing wasn't in front of its body, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the thing that's supposed to be a tire. Well, we can still cuddle it from the back, at least. A Bustiff can bark now.
Yay!
It's strong enough to do that. Alright, coming up is a little bit of movement that I am not very good at. We're gonna jump down this mountainside to reach the desert that is pretty nearby. And we want to hit as many slopes along the way as possible to stop our fall and cancel the hard fall animation, but I somehow tend to mess that up a lot. I did hit the first one here, so that's good. And oh no, we do have to go into the summary here and reteach Knockoff over Orosphere. Orosphere has done its job. Knockoff is a 65 power dark type move, which is pretty good because, like I said earlier, Masquerada is a dark type. So we get what's called same type attack bonus, which is just a bonus for if the type of the attack is the same as the type of the Pokemon. Hit this little slow, perfect.
Nice.
And then there's this one's a little harder to hit. Nope. Oh, actually, it worked, I guess. We didn't get the hard landing. I don't think that was supposed to happen, but hey, you know. Alright, so right up here is the Titan in the desert. I was talking about this I just ran straight into that flittle, even though I saw it coming. That was my mistake. For once, that was not the game just throwing a Pokemon right in my face or spawning one inside of the walls. That was just me. Yeah, there it is. And it looks pretty intimidating, I want to say.
Yeah, big boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Now, this fight is different in Violet because it's a different Pokemon in Violet. We have Great Tusk here, which is, I believe, a fighting and ground type. And in Violet, this would be a steel ground type. I don't
Iron
know.
Tusk.
Yeah, Iron Tusk. Which is just a little bit harder to beat for us. So that's one of the reasons why Scarlet, for this particular category at least, is definitely the faster game. It's also faster in other categories. The reason for that is that the just movement animation of Miraidon produces more lag than the movement animation of Coraidon. So Violet just runs a couple seconds slower across a speedrun. But there aren't any major version differences outside of this Titan fight, I think. And the final boss fight at any percent is also a little bit different. It's actually easier in Violet though, I think, from what I've heard. I've actually not run any percent myself, so I don't know too much about that, but yeah. We just save time because Coraidon is a little bit faster. Alright, this is another one of those fights where if you have a little bit worse special attack, this might not KO to one hit. But this cat is pretty amazing, so no problem there.
And of course, yet another cutscene that is not a cutscene.
Yet another cutscene that we cannot skip.
Well, let me just take a sec to remind you and everyone here, this is Speed Stuff for Charity, specifically Speed Stuff for Trans Lives 2, and we're raising money in support of the Equality Texas Foundation. Equality Texas and the Equality Texas Foundation work in tandem to secure full equality for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer Texans through political action, education, community organizing, and collaboration. You can donate through !donate in chat. And if we can raise, we only need $65 to unlock that bonus game 2 Pump It Up XX Anniversary Edition. So even, a couple of dollars helps. Go ahead, keep those donations coming. That's how we got this Path of Legends in the first place.
Absolutely, yes. Only through your donations am I able to present this run to you. So keep it up. I think there's some amazing incentives that are coming up. All right, here. Another sandwich, another ability regained. This time we actually do get the ability to glide. From the ground type Titan. Again, doesn't really make sense, but we're just not going to question it. The ability to glide will come in handy exactly once in a minute here, right after the cutscene, because we're gonna fly to the 5th Titan, and then after we've flown to the actual flight point, we're gonna glide to the Titan itself. Also, Mabustav is getting strong enough to stand now at the end of this cutscene, so it's showing great signs of recovery here.
Yay! Aww.
Oh, I think I'm getting it wrong. No, it's the next cutscene where Mabustav can stand up again. Sorry for getting your hopes up.
I mean, Mabustav is still feeling better, so...
That is true. Still feeling better. All right, so like I said, we're gonna fly right out of this desert to the watchtower that we unlocked earlier, and that's right next to the next Titan fight, the final Titan fight of the game. We're gonna hop right into the air. We're gonna start gliding. We're gonna face the camera toward the sky, because this lake is the laggiest area of the game, and the less we see of it, the smoother this game will run. I'm gonna start dropping here, and then jump onto the island and start the fight by talking to this. Now, actually, this is supposed to be a little bit of a puzzle, because this island is full of those little sushi-looking things, but only one of them is saying Titan. So you're actually supposed to find it, but of course we know where it is. We can just head straight towards it, and then we fight Dondozo here. I'm actually gonna menu and save right here, because this next fight is, well, not the next fight, but the fight right after is really tough and can just kill us. So goodbye, this save file will no longer be useful to me after this. But yeah, this Titan is the only Titan that has 3 phases instead of 2. And third phase is really tough for us. And we can't save between phase 2 and 3, so I wanted to make sure to save after phase 1 at least. And now, fingers crossed that nothing will go wrong on this fight.
You got it. We believe.
Yes. So Arvin is going to show up here. And actually that little thing, Tatsugiri, is going to be the one eating the Herba Mystica this time. But Dondozo is just going to swallow it right back up. And it's going to get the buff itself for phase 2 here.
I remember playing this one casually. I was just like, wait, what is going on?
Yeah. I was definitely surprised by this mechanic overall. Even funnier still that this is actually a game mechanic outside of this Titan fight as well. If you do a double battle with Tatsugiri and Dondozo, you can actually swallow Tatsugiri there as well to get a huge buff for Dondozo. As far as I know. So yeah, we just use Grass Knot twice here. It's really straightforward. Pretty easy. Like I said, it's not the second phase. That's the problem here. It's the third phase. And that's going to be starting right after this cutscene.
Oh, wait.
And yeah, this is the point where we switch back to physical attacking. So we're actually going to set up an axe attack here. There we go. And we want to see the Tatsugiri go for taunt on us, ideally. It goes for Icy Wind, which is the worst thing it could do because that lowers our speed. And it does a lot of damage. Also critical hit on Greedent, nice. So now we don't outspeed it anymore, which is unfortunate. Also, Greedent goes for takedown, which is basically the worst thing that could happen. So I'm just gonna go for a heal here and hope that it doesn't go for Icy Wind again. I do have this energy root, and this is exactly the reason why I picked it up. Let's see what it does next. Taunt on me, that's perfect. That's exactly what it's supposed to do because all I'm gonna be doing is actually attacking it. Please go for Tail Whip, perfect. Tail Whip lowers Tatsugiri's defense, and since we're attacking physically, that really helps us out. I can now definitely hit it once. Muddy Water, we avoid, that's also perfect, so this means we will definitely live another turn, though Greedent might die, which isn't the worst thing in the world. We made it to this fight, and that's all that matters. Oh, almost enough. Just hit it with takedown now. No, it missed, of course, because of the Muddy Water. Unfortunately, we're just gonna go for Leafage here to finish it off. Leafage is actually the first move that the cat gets. It's a 40 power move, but it has a very short animation, which is why we keep it. For cases like this, where Flower Trick would have just been overkill, because Flower Trick has an incredibly long animation, as you might have noticed when I used it there. So yeah, that's what we use Leafage for in this run. And that's it, we barely beat this Titan. At least barely when it comes to Greedent's health, because that one was very close to fainting. And then that will unlock the 5th and final Herba Mystica for us, but that's just going to give us the ability to climb, and we're actually never going to use that, so well, that's just how it is.
It's not quite the end of Path of Legends, right?
It's not quite the end of Path of Legends. We have beaten all of the Titan fights, but there's one more fight we have to do, and that is against our buddy Arvin, because we have healed his dog back to health. Time to beat that dog up. I'm not kidding, he actually uses it in the fight, which is kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
You just healed it back to health. Why would you protect the dog, Arvin?
I know. When I was playing casually and he's like, okay, let's fight. I was like, what? No, we just, what?
Yeah. I do not approve.
someone
The
is
dog
mentioning
insisted,
in
so it's
chat.
okay, I think, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The dog does insist, but
Yeah, that is true. The dog is very hyped for the battle, so I guess we can let it slide, but still. Okay, while this cutscene is playing, I do have to double check my stats on this cat because this last fight is pretty complex.
all right.
So I do have to know my stats for that.
Well, and while you do that, just a reminder, you can !donate in chat. We do need another only $65 to unlock that bonus game of Pump It Up. But we also have the incentive bid war to choose the boss level chart for Pump It Up. So however much money you want to put in, you can choose that boss level chart for Pump It Up. As long as we make it, which we're under $100 to get there, so we can get there. !donate in chat.
Yeah, this one will take, I want to say another 5 to 8 minutes here. That's, well, more 8 minutes than 5, because there's still a lot of cutscene left. And of course, the final battle itself. But then we've finally also beaten the Path of Legends. 2 out of 3 stories ain't bad. Especially, like I said, the full any percent run of this game takes 5.5 hours to beat.
So you
having
2/3 of it in, just over 3 hours.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Well, we're not there yet, but soon.
We're not quite there yet. That is true. Yeah. I'm really glad that these single story runs exist, because I don't think I would be speedrunning this game if the only option would be to do a 5+ hour run, right?
Yeah. I can understand.
Pokemon runs usually are pretty long, right? But
Yeah.
5 hours seems a bit excessive, to me at least. So, yeah. Path of Legends, just under an hour. And Victory Road, about 2 hours 15, 2 hours 20. Those are pretty nice lengths for a speedrun, I think. And I definitely enjoy playing them a lot.
I appreciate a game having a lot of variety of length. So, there are some shorter ones, there are some longer ones, mid-length. So, however you want to speedrun, you can do it.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of options in this game. Alright, so the dog can stand again.
Yay!
It's raining. Good thing that didn't happen during the fight, because like I said, this is the laggiest area, and if it had been raining, during the fight, I think we would have lost like 15 seconds to lag. So,
oof, wow.
That's a good, that was, that may have been a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's definitely, you can feel the lag. It's a couple of seconds at least that we lose that. So there's one more cutscene here where we actually enter the lab with Arvin. Like I said, Arvin is actually the son of the Pokemon professor. And we're gonna get the final mission of the game here in the storyline, where we are supposed to enter Area Zero, the big crater in the middle of the region, to find out what actually is the origin of our right Pokemon Koraidon and get to the bottom of that. But we're not going to do that. That's not what we're here for. We're only here to beat Arvin.
We're here for Path of Legends.
Absolutely.
That's what you donated for. That's what we're getting.
So we're having a little bit of a video call with Seda here, who gives us all of that information about Area Zero and the Paradox Pokemon. But we don't care about that. There's a little bit of an optimization you can make on this dialogue, because Arvin, after the call ends here, Arvin is gonna prompt you to answer either yes or no to a question, and if you answer yes, which would just mean mashing A, it's a little bit slower. So you actually want to say no here, because he takes less time to answer. Oh, it's actually not yes or no, it's two different answers, but we want to choose the second option there. I never read the text anymore. I never read the text. It's just the distinction is between mashing A and actually selecting the other option there. And usually you would think just mashing is the quickest, but selecting option 2 saves some time. Now we want to leave the lab, and we're going to do one last menu here because we still have that adamant mint, and we need to be adamant for the final fight, which ironically for this cat was our original nature anyway, so we're just returning to our roots by using that on the cat. And then last but not least, I do want to save one more time because this fight can be pretty rough, specifically the first Pokemon, because he's going to send out the Greedent that just helped us out during the Tatsugiri fight. And he's going to send that against us. Now, this Greedent is going to spam Body Slam, and Body Slam has a 30% chance of paralyzing us. Now, if it paralyzes us, we have to heal that, because otherwise we might randomly not attack during the rest of the battle. And if we ever do that, we die, right? So we have to heal the paralysis, but if we do that, we will not be in Overgrow for the final Pokemon, which means that we would actually have to Terrestrialize to have enough damage to take that out in one hit. And Terrestrializing, like I said before, is super slow, so we don't want to get paralyzed here. Sadly, it hits us twice, so it's actually only a 49% chance to not get paralyzed here.
Oh boy.
Slightly worse than a coin flip. So we set up the first X attack. Goes for Body Slam. Don't want to get paralyzed. Immediately paralyzed.
Oh no!
What are you gonna do? Well, it's fine. We can make this work, so we're gonna set up the second X attack. As long as we don't die here, it's fine. It's gonna go for Body Slam again, and then we can just full restore back to full health. We can't just heal the paralysis because we would just die to the next hit. We do have to use the full restore here. And because with this low health, it will just go for another move at random. So we can't just stall another turn after this to maybe get back into Overgrow. Yeah, it just goes for Earthquake, which doesn't matter to us. And then I actually forgot what move I have to use here. I'm just gonna Flower Trick, I guess. This keeps happening to me. I know most of this off the top of my head now, but sometimes I just blank on one of the moves. And then I have to scroll very rapidly through my notes to find the correct thing to do.
You've been running for over 3 hours. It makes sense.
That is true.
2 different speedruns basically back to back.
Yeah. So we're gonna actually Flower Trick this. I'm not sure I would be able to take this out with Leafage. If we had been in Overgrow, we could have also used Leafage here, which again is a much shorter animation but also has much less power than Flower Trick. So since we're not in Overgrow, that was not an option. We can also Flower Trick this. And then up next is his Cloyster. This one we can Grass Nuts. And then, as his ace, the dog that we helped heal back to full health. It has Intimidate, which is the reason that we actually have to Terrestrialize here now, and we're gonna Flower Trick it. So we're actually gonna use that ourselves for the first and only time in this run. Because we Terrestrialized to the same type that we already had, our grass type moves are gonna be buffed even more. And that is why we can use that as a last resort. To take out the dog here. It's also going to Terrestrialize and die to the Flower Trick. And that's about to be the end of the run. There's going to be like 30 seconds of cutscene after this, and then there's going to be another title card, and as soon as the border of that title card disappears, that is going to be it.
So as we're getting up to the end of the run, any shout outs or anything you would like to do?
Yeah, so I definitely want to shout out the Pokemon speedrunning community. There's a lot of awesome people over there who have helped me out immensely through my months of speedrunning. I haven't been at it that long, only started in July of last year. There have been so many people who have helped me out, who have given me tips and been very supportive of me, like Spider in the chat. And I'm very thankful to the community. Yeah. If you like what you saw, I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/Trivvaria, and I'm also on Twitter at Trivvaria. We'd love to see you there. But yeah, I think that's all I want to say. But I guess I am going to call out time here in a second. And time! But before I go, I also want to, I forgot to say this during the cutscene, I also want to thank the organizers for letting me be part of this fantastic event. I'm very happy to be here and help out the cause. It's very important to me, so thank you for letting me be a part of this. And yeah, goodbye.
Thank you so much for that run. It was really amazing, and we raised lots of money and we got to see lots of Pokemon. Thank you so much.